Hey y'all, we are back and ready to go. We're going to try to cram as much into this as we possibly can. There's just so much going on. It's hard to keep up with, but we're going to try to get through this as fast as possible and as much as possible. Cash, I was just reading your comments. Please press like, dislike, subscribe, notify. Cash. ASD, thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, there's so much going on out here. Hey Natalie, hey Thor, hey Julie, hey Army Taker's wife, Amethyst, thank you for joining the cabana. Yeah, I don't know, Cash. I looked again. Let me try again. Let me see. Hold on. Give me 1 second because I'm not finding her in here. Oh, well, that's probably why. Hold on. Never mind. It was a me thing. Got you. I was on the wrong account. Whoops. I was on my other channel. I'm like, there's nobody blocked. Okay, got you. I got you. Oh, done playing. I didn't catch that part, no. Hey, Kat. Hey, Gray One. Hey, Nicole B. Okay, Marie, Hope for Snoopy. Janice, Plug Runner. Freeside, Starry Night, Wisdom Speaks, it's Amberly, Shama, Liz, Rainbow Mom, Miss Leah, Lurker, Still in Leather. I am a blonde today. SRB, Lady Starfire, Rainbow Mom again, Sheila, Bo, Zoya, SWTC, Crazy Grandma, Grammy Rita, Teresa, Dragonfly, Aqua Adventurer, hello again, Kathy. I did it, Sheila, it was me. Terry, Shavy, it's me, Heather, Pointer Lover, Sunny Cat, Jen, Bulldog, or Go Bulldogs. All right, y'all, here we go. Okay, ready to buckle up? We're starting back a little bit. We're going to start backwards and work our way forward. So this all falls under fair use. This is based on the stuff that they put out here publicly. What we're going to be looking at in this one here. Hey, Tonka Girl. What we are going to be going through and looking at is we're going to start at, I think it's 10, 12 days ago with Brooks from Crying Lines and Bullshittery. And we're going to talk about when Seth came on her panel. And then we're going to move. Hey, Cooper's Amputee Lifestyle. Y'all, could one of my mods put Cooper's link in the chat, please? I did link him in my video that I did when I used his, but would you, if one of you could grab his mod or his link. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all you do for advocating for victims. Your video was very needed and super thankful. I am so thankful for everything you do. So thankful for you guys that are out here doing this, and I'm sorry for all the crap you guys have had to experience. Completely ridiculous, but it's stable, but isn't. Okay, Thor, thank you for letting me know. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Still in Leather. Okay. Let's go. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk backwards. We're going to kind of do it a timeline thing, and it's going to be a little bit confusing, but I'm going to try to walk you guys through. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think we need to highlight Seth's words when he was on panel with Crime Lines and Bullshittery. I want you to see how they are using Seth as content. I want you to see what they're doing to Seth, because I know Seth is getting a lot of criticism, but I want you to see what the creators are doing by using him. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let's get into it and let's get going. So we are going to, which one is it first? This one. Okay. So this is from 12 days ago. And the reason I'm going back to this is you will see. So 12 days ago, April 12th, 2024. So Crime Lines and Bullshittery over there is doing a live stream. It's almost 3 hours long, here nor there. A lot of misinformation gets put out there. A lot of rumors and speculation get ran with, but Seth hops up at the end of this. So we're going to take a look at this, and then we are going to go to JLR, Justin of TikTok, and Pascal. That's the goal for today. We might hit a few more if we have time. If not, I will pick up again, because you guys, there's so much overlapping. We might get into 1111 true crime. I'm not sure how far we'll get, but we're going to get as far as we can.
Splicing it, but that was on our site. So it was.
And once again, this all is under fair use. This is my opinion on the BS that they put out here publicly. This is for education and entertainment purposes, really not on the entertainment purposes, because I find it nothing entertaining about using a missing child for exploiting families at their lowest time in vulnerable actions. So more for education and awareness purposes than anything else, because there is nothing entertaining about people's real lives and people being kicked at the lowest time possible.
It's easier for them to do that. What is it that you put in there? And it can mess up with the Wi-Fi. Well, that's one.
I'm going to fast forward this to when Seth comes on, so you guys know what is going on. Just to give full context, there was a video. She had a couple people on panel, as she normally does, and then at around the
I'm going to put a little bit backstage.
2:16 mark, she brings Seth up
for a second, because we have Seth backstage, and I want to give him the stage. Okay, you guys?
Yeah.
Well, hello, Seth. Welcome, and I'm so sorry for what you're going through, all the frustrations and physical injuries and just the hurt in your heart. What's going on today?
Just got out of physical.
We will make sure you're not silenced. We will make sure that people know. In fact, we are doing whatever we can to, if we have to get a petition going between all of us. SOs aren't supposed to have social media in any capacity, really. So we will do whatever we can, and you will definitely not be silenced, because more people need to be aware.
Therapy. Now I'm in traffic. There's a lot that doesn't make sense with what's going on. There's a lot that doesn't make sense. You know, people. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I take everybody's opinion with a grain of salt.
And Cooper's the one that did the video highlighting Brothers Underwater Recovery being a sex offender. There's other videos out there too. In fact, Unsupervised Maniacs will be doing one. Duchess will be doing an update on that. We got you. But did an incredible firsthand experience of actually working with these people and kind of from that perspective. Yeah.
By the way, if you sent me your number to a Facebook, it is not me. I don't have social media. The only thing I have is YouTube.
Oh, well, crap. Okay.
Okay, so he doesn't have social media. I'm going to point out some inconsistencies, because I want you to see how the creators have driven this narrative. This is discussing the narratives that are being pushed and who is behind these narratives. Because, yes, Seth seems to be, if we're being honest, Seth seems to be involved in a lot of these narratives that have gone on, like we discussed this morning about how Nina conveniently got hooked up with Trev. There's a lot of questions here. But I want you to see the creators who are using Seth as a part of their narrative to continue to push.
So if you see a profile out there that says it's me, it's not me.
Well, damn. Okay. Somebody's got my phone number then.
So, well, whoever wants to be me, they don't realize what that tells, because I don't even want to be me right now. There's people that everybody has an opinion, but I don't have social media, so I don't really have to listen to their opinion.
No, you don't. You're doing the work. He's your son.
He's their son. Factually speaking, he's their son. And doing the work. Unfortunately, at this point, we all know that they're all parents going through a really rough spot. Really rough spot. This whole, like, you're doing the work, they're doing nothing is such a weird narrative. Law enforcement suggests over and over again to families when they have loved ones and things like this, that they do not search, that they do not put their boots on the ground. And we know that Chris and Katie were doing stuff in the very beginning of this.
I just want to find it. That's all I want to do.
At what point did you start getting the suspicion that maybe you're not being told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth from Katie?
Pretty much day one while I listened to her story, because she changed it multiple times.
Okay, so he comes on public platform and says that she changed her story multiple times. But we've also heard that what she has stated to law enforcement hasn't changed. They've been cooperating with law enforcement. And I mean, not that her story hasn't changed to law enforcement, but they're not giving indication that she has flip-flopped on her stories changing. That's coming from Seth, who was there when they turned over phones, when they were interviewing with law enforcement. Seth's phone got taken too. He was at Chris and Katie's from the sounds of it when all of this was going on.
I mean, for the first 3 days, I was at their house until Chris decided that he wasn't going to. He didn't like my sister setting up a GoFundMe.
So he states himself that he was there for the first 3 days, that Chris didn't like that the sister set up the GoFundMe. Well, that was because they had agreed that they weren't going to do that, from my understanding.
He didn't like that. And it's like, well, you may not like it, but she asked, and I told her she could. And it wasn't for finding Sebastian or anything like that. It's my sister knew that I wouldn't go back to work because my son's missing. I got phone. So the fact is that he didn't like it, and I had to deal with it.
So he states right here that the GoFundMe, I'm going to rewind that so you guys can hear that, actually, because I think people need to understand what he's saying here about the GoFundMe, because that's being used to question him recently too.
And it's like, well, you may not like it, but she asked, and I told her she could. And it wasn't for finding Sebastian or anything like that. It's my sister knew that I wouldn't go back to work because my son's missing. I got a phone. So the fact is that he didn't like it, and I had to deal with it.
So the sister set it up knowing that they had agreed to not do a GoFundMe. It sounds to me like he is implying that he would go back to work if he wasn't searching for Sebastian. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section on that. But I'm kind of confused. I don't know if the injury happened on the dog. Like, there's just some confusion here.
I'd like to think that neither one of them had anything to do with my son's disappearance. But they could always come, help pass out flyers, help search. I've never told them that they can't. They have just chose not to.
Well, what pisses me off is that, they can't get off their dead asses to go search, but they go sit at the damn Cracker Barrel.
I would like to know what Seth was told from law enforcement if he should be on the ground searching. I would like to know what has been stated there personally. Another question I have is, are they supposed to not eat? They're supposed to just stop everything, stop eating, stop living, stop going to work. Everything's supposed to stop. Meanwhile, we are discrediting everything that happened at the beginning of this. They were out passing out flyers, contacting search organizations when pictures were taken of them.
And they say it's because, the public's so mean to them. Well, aren't there people at the Cracker Barrel?
Yeah. It's allegedly somebody's leaking my address and my phone numbers out to people. I
Thank you. Thank you, Chasing. That's what I was saying. Chasing says he's saying that his sister set it up because she knows he's not going to go to work because he's searching for Sebastian. So she set up a GoFundMe for his finances. Absolutely. Because some people are misconstruing this and saying, and you'll see some of that today if we get that far. But some people are trying to ask for their money back because what they're saying is that the GoFundMe was set up for search purposes. And that, to me, out of Seth's mouth, but people are weird.
Still don't have anybody showing up at my house.
I get
Until yesterday. I had somebody actually walking the street taking pictures of where I live. I stood on my front porch smoking a cigarette and just stared at them. I mean, welcome to the Constitution. You have the right to sit there and take pictures of my house from public property. You know?
Yeah, how about it?
Doesn't bother me at all.
But that's been happening to Chris and Katie. I'm glad it doesn't bother you, but it's been happening to them also.
I don't hide anywhere. You'll find my truck's pretty noticeable.
I sent you a message in private chat with my email and phone number, by the way. Can you see that?
Yeah. See where it says one where I've got a message. Now I got two.
Now you got two. Look at that. You're popular.
That's so freaking weird to say. You're popular. Like it's some sort of, y'all, this fan club stuff for the parents of a missing child has got to stop. It's
more popular than I really ever wanted to be.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. Have you been talking, I'm sure, regularly?
The GoFundMe does have a description of what it's for. You are absolutely correct. It's just being misconstrued and a whole big deal made out to it by the same people who were pro starting it to begin with. And go Seth, go Seth, go Seth. Now that Seth made the statement of him potentially laying down swords, it's been a whole hubbub lately.
With law enforcement?
It just...
They're not going to give me any information.
Doesn't work.
I got tired of giving them, because I was getting leads, and it was like I was giving them leads, but I believe that they're talking to Katie and Chris more than they're talking to me.
Okay, so that goes to push the narrative that law enforcement is not articulating things with Seth as they are with Chris and Katie, because he does state he believes. So his belief, but this goes with the narrative of pushing that law enforcement isn't doing enough, or law enforcement in some way, shape, or form is giving preferential treatment to one of the family members, which we don't have any substance to verify any of that.
It seems to me because they have all the answers they need from you.
It seems to me that you should just shut up. Seriously. Like, I'm sorry, but this isn't none of this. Not one thing here is about how do we help you find Sebastian.
There's a lot of questions about when you saw the video of Sebastian at the restaurant, what was he wearing?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy. Chasing just put the description in the chat. It says verbatim, "Hello, my name is Sarah Swank. I am the aunt of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and the sister of Seth Rogers. As many of you know, my nephew Sebastian has been missing since the early hours of Monday, February 26th. Since Monday morning, my brother has been out of work as he continues this heartbreaking journey to find his son. With that said, I would like to reach out to see if we can pull together to help him a little financially. Bills do not go away in situations like this. Any little bit would help take that stress off." Very point right there. It says to help him while this is going on. I don't know how people are confused by this now. I don't know how people that have been in this fan club of Seth are targeting him over. Like, we knew this was going to happen. I think everybody was kind of aware that this was going to happen over this money situation. And I think that's why they had initially probably agreed to not do a GoFundMe. But here we are.
Got in trouble. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody that.
Okay, well then don't say anything. That's okay. Don't want to get you in trouble.
Well, I already got in trouble. Trouble is one of my middle names.
Okay.
And anybody looking at that logically is saying the same thing that Chris and Katie are in the same boat. Yeah, 100% agree with. I agree with all you guys. You're not arguing. Like, I'm not arguing with you. it's just interesting to see the shift of that now. And I will show you that coming up.
Do you know if they have searched the RV and their cars?
I have no idea. I know they haven't searched mine. I've literally told them they can search mine, you know.
Now, what is all of this?
He was there for the first 3 days. I'm assuming if they asked to search the cars, the family members would be more than willing to allow that to happen. They're looking for their son. Again, some of this is exactly why these narratives keep being spun, because Seth himself goes on these YouTubers channels and says these things and helps to conform or not conform, build these narratives. In essence, he is attempting to help build a narrative against Chris and Katie. And this, to me, is not, none of this is really factual or changes anything about Sebastian being missing. Nothing he is giving us in this helps bring Sebastian or bring awareness to Sebastian being missing.
This panic talk about polygraphs. You're in law enforcement. You know, polygraphs, they're not admissible in court.
Oh.
They can be fooled. I understand you took one recently.
Yeah, they're still grading mine.
So this was before the supposed polygraph through Nancy Grace. Just to be clear, Seth took one through Nancy Grace, not law enforcement, from my understanding.
Why all the different stories from Chris Proudfoot? You know him better than we do. Why one day has he taken one? The next day TBI said he didn't need to take one. Then he says he took one and passed. Then he said Nancy Grace lied to him.
Question that would be, I mean, just so many stories that you can't believe anything that the gentleman says. You know, took a polygraph. Katie. I took one because Miss Grace asked me to.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's taking one or not.
What, according to Burton Steggs, who I think was the first person I saw to release it, could be wrong on who actually confirmed it, but Chris has taken a polygraph and passed it. Seth's has been deemed inconclusive, according to what his mother has stated. Nobody has really came out and stated much about Seth besides his mom. Nancy hasn't done anything with it yet.
I don't understand what it's like. I'd rather have still been that private person that I was before. I'd rather have never had to be on a podcast, never had to be asked an interview. I'd rather have been, you know, my son living with me, me going to work, coming home.
I have to disagree here with Seth, and this isn't anything against Seth in any way, shape, or form, but it seems to me he's not shy of the limelight. Like, he doesn't seem to be bothered by going on these. I think we're over 40 now times that he's been on different ones. And my only issue with that is it's usually 9 out of 10 that I've seen. And it's a lot of the creators that are doing it and pushing the narrative by the questions that they're asking are to push a narrative against Chris and Katie versus factual information to help bring Sebastian help. That's my take on what I've seen.
My son there, all this that's going on is just a lot of stress in my life that nobody really ever needs. But as I was told, better suck it up, Buttercup. So I did. I've never been one for interviews. So I enjoyed my private life, going to work, coming home, spending time with my son. And now I don't know if I'll ever get to spend time with him again.
Okay, and this isn't a dig towards Seth. Please understand that I'm not trying to paint Seth out to be a bad guy or discredit him in any way, shape, or form. But spend time with your son. What, 2 weekends a month? Is that kind of what their schedule was? I'm not really sure. Again, I know that there had been arrangements to attempt to try him living with him coming up. They were going to try a trial run or something of the sort. And I'm not trying to discredit him, but he makes himself sound like he's so involved, like a daily father. And maybe they did have communication. I just don't understand why it has to sound this way. And I don't know if it's because of again, the creators that he's trying to, I don't know why this is this way or why it sounds this way, but factually speaking, he obviously has more going on in his life because they did have a custody arrangement.
How are you feeling physically? I know you said you had to go to physical therapy. Is that for your shoulder or just all the above?
Actually, it was for my neck. They said that my shoulder pain was being caused by my neck. So,
Christine Alaska wants to know how we can help.
the best way to help is, besides keeping your head up and your eyes open, is passing out flyers. That's where tips and stuff come in because people might be seeing my son.
This is really the only thing that stands out to me in this entire thing about Sebastian. This bothers me. It does. I can't.
Let's light the chat up for Sebastian, please. Sebastian's Army.
Okay, this right here is cringe as fuck. I'm sorry. I got to call it what it is. But lighting YouTube chats up and calling people Sebastian's Army, like, I get that Seth has said that, and I get that it takes a village to bring a child home. But it just is so fucking weird to me.
I see the godfather of the case has made it in. That is our friend Trevor. I'm sure you know Trevor, Seth.
The godfather of the case. This is a missing child. The godfather who has never met these families. I mean, he has met Seth. I'll say that. I don't know if he's met Chris and Katie. But to call him the godfather of this case is so fucking cringe.
Trevor Lee? Yeah, I know Trevor.
Any intuition, inkling, or anything where Sebastian could be?
I have my ideas.
I have my ideas.
I just don't have the resources I need.
I just don't have the resources I need
to track it.
Okay. So he has an idea of where he thinks Sebastian is. What resources is he talking about? This is why it's important to work with law enforcement, which he says has basically kind of limited communication. Why would that be? This is so contradictory right here. This is...
So pretty much just...
What resources are you asking for? I don't get it. You have PIs. He doesn't allude to money. The resource, in my opinion, absolutely would be law enforcement. It would be law enforcement that he needs as a resource, right? Anybody else have issues with that? I don't know.
Winging it.
Are you getting any advice from the people you work for?
She's alluding to the county sheriff's office that he works for because he's a jailer for, I think it's Davidson County. Is that correct? I get the counties down there screwed up. Absolutely, Rhiannon.
I think his sound cut out a little bit. Okay, there you are. I think you're going to have to refresh your mic. Are you there?
I get him confused.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now we're back. Do you have any thoughts on Chris Proudfoot's family? Good,
ma'am, in the comment section. Looks like right here. You are not playing the whole clip. Seth is on camera working the whole time. You are so wrong. Ask Chris why he said he was not home, but now it's been proven he was until 9 p.m. Carla, show me where the proof is that he was home until 9 p.m., please, and thank you. Secondly, I played the entire clip when Seth came up. We started at the beginning of when Seth came up on her panel. I'm not sure what clip you're talking about. Seth is on camera working the whole time. What are you talking about? Working how? Where? What? Nobody said Seth here. You need to back the fuck off because obviously you don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We don't think I personally don't think Seth was involved in anything. Neither was Chris. and your proof of Chris being home till 9 p.m. Do your research, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You don't even have proof. You don't even have proof. We're not even talking about that. We've all known from a jump that data shows that Chris and Seth were not there. What the hell are you even, ma'am? Shut the fuck up.
Bad or indifferent.
That's all.
His sister has made some kind of really strange statements.
What are these?
You know, and
doing?
his mom and stepfather, their goofy asses took off to Alaska right after Sebastian went missing.
Yep.
So what? So what? They had a pre-planned trip. So what?
I know they did. I know, you know, for the person that, for Maddie to be sitting there and making the comments that I heard that she made on Facebook about that's my grandson, and for her to turn around and disappear to Alaska with her husband Terry, that kind of actions speak louder than words. I've always been a person that believe actions speak louder than words.
You got that right.
Actions do speak louder than words, Seth.
Because you have a child in your family that you can't find. You don't go to Alaska. He's not in Alaska.
But wait, that goes against what your buddies say.
Just like Katie going down to Mississippi with Chris, and she's like, well, because he could be anywhere. Trevor's in the chat. I put the link up, Trevor, if you want to come up.
The Godfather is in the building, according to her. Wait a second. What do these people expect this family to do? Genuinely asking, what do they expect them to do? I mean, we know what they expect. We know they expect them to sit there and twiddle their thumbs and what is happening? But Uvalde was donating or deploying resources to Alaska. So which story do you guys want to tell today? I can't even believe somebody in the comments just came in here and thought that these people have lost their freaking minds. Revival, I think we found where Justin's information has ran with. Carla seems to have heard the same rumor Justin's spreading.
Trevor said Seth's actions speak volumes. He wants his son found.
Yeah.
Do you know if you can tell us, you can tell us. If you can't, we're going to understand. If law enforcement's looking into any connections to them running to Mississippi or Chris's goofy family running up to Alaska.
It was a simple answer right there. Simple answer. Chris went back to work. Katie didn't feel safe in her home.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know who's leading the investigation anymore. I don't know who's doing the investigations. I've looked on Sumner County website to see if my son was on there, and he's not even on there under their missing persons. So,
oh my God,
I don't know a lot of stuff anymore.
He is absolutely on the TBI website. He is absolutely listed.
Well, hang on. Isn't he on the TBI website?
He is on the TBI website.
I think everybody in Sumner County, for the most part, that watches the news or anything like that is aware. It has been on media, national media, mainstream media.
Trevor said they haven't even listed him on their open cases. How do you feel about that?
What in the hell?
Oh, Sumner County or TBI?
Sumner County.
Well, my opinion on this matter is that the first 48 hours is the most important. And they just marked it as a runaway listening to his mother. They didn't take into effect that even though he's 15.
He says right there that they marked it as a runaway. Okay.
Physically, he's not 15 mentally. He has has autistic traits, and he's been diagnosed with autism, and then his chromosomal deletion. All of that.
That's why he's considered endangered.
Mentally, he's not 15. Maybe 10. And It took 3 days to get him as an Amber Alert. Their policies and procedures are not, they're not designed for a child that is on the spectrum. And they should immediately have put him on the Amber Alert. And it should have definitely, they should have definitely have investigated differently when it comes to the investigation part.
That reminds me that is a good point that I will like to bring up. Amber Alerts need to be more standardized. In fact, the wonderful Arctic Fox has made a petition. It should be in the link of this description. And if it's not, I will make sure it's there when I'm done. Please go sign Arctic's Standardize Amber Alerts across the board petition.
The search and rescue is one thing. They did a lot for that. But they should have turned around and dusted for fingerprints, looked for anything that might have been out of the normal, you know. And they didn't do that. They failed my son.
He states that law enforcement failed his son, but he was there for the first 3 days as this was going on. You heard him state that in the beginning of this.
I agree, because like you said, the first 48 hours is the most important. So why take her word? Why on earth did they not just conduct a proper investigation right off the bat?
Well, good question. Maybe their deputy chief could answer that question. But you know,
what did you see what came out last night on the your local news with Nick Veris, where he said he spoke with law enforcement and said it's an investigation, but the DA won't do anything because they have no physical evidence. How can that even be possible?
Well, they have no physical evidence because they didn't do forensics. I mean, we're talking about they didn't tape off anything. They didn't come in. They didn't illumine all the house.
Y'all, in the comment section, calm the hell down. Seriously. We don't, factually speaking, which is what we do, we don't have fan clubs for the parents of a missing child. We're looking at everything from an unbiased lens here. Completely that Sebastian should have been the focus and should be the focus. These are narratives. The rumors and speculation that you guys are using to develop your theories are speculation and rumors started for a purpose by YouTube creators that are continuing to run with this stuff.
House. They didn't dust his room for fingerprints that wouldn't have belonged there. They didn't do a fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to the investigation.
First of all, if law enforcement has proof that Chris was there, they will handle it. I would love to see Spanky's source of who this misinformation is coming from.
They ask questions. Well, asking questions is fine if you're looking for a missing persons, but you don't know if, you know, that press conference was just wow.
I was a little disgusted by the press conference. Well, a lot disgusted. And I'm sure it was kind of quite the punch in the gut to you.
Why were you disgusted by the press conference? Because they didn't arrest Katie and Chris? Law enforcement works on facts and proof and evidence, not speculation and rumors on social media.
Well, yeah, because they said they don't have anything, and then they want to sit there and tell me that, you know, get mad because I ask questions, and then tell me that they only want legitimate leads when I'm sending them everything, and I'm on legitimate leads.
So law enforcement has basically obviously said something that they only want legitimate leads. Then the stuff that Seth was sending them were not legitimate leads, I'm guessing, because we have seen the funnel and the trickle down effect. So people are getting a hold of YouTubers, and then those YouTubers are making crazy videos. I need Seth right now. I need Seth. I need Seth. And of course, the lead doesn't pan out. We've seen that happen.
You guys don't have any leads. That's what you're telling me. It's what you're telling everybody else. I heard that telephone call with Chris on it. You know, oh, I rode around with them.
Chasing, the interesting part about that, the live stream that it was stated in was from Spanky's. I'm sure it's been stated in more than that. But he privated or put that on members only too.
You know, they showed me this. They showed me that. Well, isn't that nice that you're not even a biological parent and yet they turned around and showed you everything. Kind of makes me wonder how much somebody got paid.
And here is another push of the narrative that somebody has been paid to turn a cheek.
Same here, because he's the last.
Let me make this clear. You would not only have to pay somebody at a local level, you would have to pay multiple people at a local level. You'd have to pay the TBI. You would have to pay the FBI. You'd have to pay the Secret Service to get people to look the other way. That's a lot of money and a lot of people getting paid.
One that should be riding around with them. It should be you.
That's not true either, because he didn't live in that neighborhood. He doesn't know that neighborhood like Chris does. Chris lives in the home that he went missing from, that Sebastian went missing from. Of course, they're going to take somebody that's familiar with the location. That wouldn't even make sense to take Seth driving around. I mean, okay, if you wanted to hop in the car with them, but Chris knows the area, knows the neighbors, knows the neighborhood. This makes no sense. But again,
you know, most of the time when you're doing a search and rescue for a child that's autistic, you'll have at least one of the parents, the biological parents, going with law enforcement because they could possibly scare the child and they need to hear a voice that is familiar to them.
His stepdad's voice would have been familiar to him. And it has nothing to do with biologic. There's people that don't live with their biologic parents. That's not valid. He lived with them. Katie was obviously with law enforcement when Chris was going through and looking in the neighborhood with law enforcement. Again, this is where it becomes very personal, directed, and the narrative is amping up.
And yet, Katie didn't leave the house. And they never once took me to go look for him.
Why would they take you to look for him in a neighborhood you don't live in or you're not familiar with? Did you ask them to take you?
It was very upsetting to all of us that instead of calling 911, she called Chris, who was supposedly 3.5 hours away. And
it was very upsetting to all of us. That has nothing to do with you. Law enforcement still was contacted. Just because she called Chris first, she also texted Seth. Seth was at work. I'm sure none of them thought that this would carry on for this many days.
And change. Minutes count when you're looking for anything, but most importantly, a child. And she doesn't even leave the house. Why was she not knocking on doors? Why didn't she call you? You would have been out there in a heartbeat to find him.
They did call my phone.
They did call his phone.
Well, Chris called my phone and sent me a text message.
Chris called his phone and sent him a text message.
Both of them knew I was at work. Why didn't they call Davidson County and ask to speak to my captain?
Mm-hmm.
My captain, I mean, they would have literally pulled me out of work immediately and I'd have been there instead of me being there, you know, after I got off work.
But he contradicts. He says that Katie never left the house, and then YouTubers are running with she was out meeting up with somebody's parent.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. My son's not a runner anyways, and I tried to tell him that. But they don't want to listen to me. The state of Tennessee is... I have no faith in Sumner County. And the fact that they wanted me to actually come work for them, I ain't putting an application. I can't work for a department or an office that cannot... They still have my son's electronics.
Of course they do. Of course they're going to still have his electronics. He's a missing child. You would...
You know, why? Why do you still have his electronics? Give them back to me. You know, why is it that I have researched and found more information that I'm pretty sure that they haven't? They haven't looked at it at all. You know, they don't have anything. From my understanding, besides having family that works there, you know.
Has the FBI been any help?
I've spoken with them, but...
I've spoken with them. So he knows that the FBI is involved in this case. He has spoken with them.
It takes 60 days from the start of the case before you can request the FBI to come in and let the company that's or the organization that is doing the initial investigation asked for him to step in. And I personally believe
they've been assisting. They've been assisting in this case.
That after 30 days, Sumner County not doing what they should have done at all, ever, they should have released it to TBI and asked them to come in and given TBI 30 days to fuck everything up.
Sumner County, TBI, FBI, Secret Service have all been involved in providing resources for this case.
And then ask the FBI to come in and actually do their job.
I mean, the FBI card unit at the least, because they have ways of knowing if he was abducted or not. That seems to be what Katie is leaning towards.
Yeah, she's leaning towards that now. 30 days later, maybe somebody took him.
I'm sure she's been in shock trying to process all the different scenarios that could be potential.
Well, they've had plenty of time to clean their house, haven't they?
Plenty of time to clean their house, alluding to that they're covering up some sort of crime. Law enforcement was in that house the very day they were looking around.
Plenty of time to destroy evidence that was there. So she had plenty of time to actually clean up any evidence before, we found out he was missing. Because we don't.
So now he's, again, alluding to that a crime scene was cleaned up. This is where these narratives continue to get. Now, did Seth develop this theory on his own and this narrative on his own? No, in my opinion, he did not. He was pushed in this direction by social media, and unfortunately, he went right into it.
Don't even know when he went missing.
No. Do we even know where Chris Proudfoot truly was? Do we even know if Katie was at home?
We don't. We don't really know anything.
We don't. But according to factual statements by law enforcement, I guess we're just going to discount that, right?
We know approximately what time that they arrived back to the house. But, that would be looking at the video cameras. Chris and Katie have had plenty of access to those from all their neighbors. It took them 5 weeks to show me proof of life after I had spoken to him on Thursday.
Proof of life, that only got started, in my opinion, because of social media and starting the narrative that he never made it home from the restaurant. That wasn't a law enforcement thing. Law enforcement supposedly, allegedly, showed Seth the video of Sebastian taking the garbage out that night. And he has still discounted that. But his PI confirmed that that's what was on law enforcement video.
5 weeks.
I give up.
Do you know if EquiSearch has plans to come back anytime soon?
I have no idea. And I'm not really particularly fond of David Radar's comments. He hasn't been out handing flyers out.
No, but his organization cleared 43 ponds within the first 2 days that they were there. They did drone searches with high-tech equipment. They helped law enforcement. They worked hand in hand with law enforcement through the entire thing. In fact, I think they were the only volunteer search organization that was invited in to do a search hand in hand with law enforcement because of the technology that they can provide. Taking a hit. So he's going to not be happy with Dave, but be nice, Becky.
I missed it. What did he say? I missed it.
You want me?
Please go watch the interview that Dave and Twyla did with Duty Ron and on the search in Sebastian's case. It's incredible. They detail what they did. They showed maps, all of the search areas. They've detailed it. That's why I have such an issue with people like CJ, the grifter extraordinaire, going in and acting like he's searching. He's going to the same exact spots that have been cleared by actual SAR certified organizations. It's all a grift with CJ.
I said I missed it. What did he say? Because he's no Tim Miller. I'll say that for sure.
He had turned around and stated that he thinks it's ridiculous somebody would threaten somebody who's looking for a 15-year-old kid. But my volunteers to hand out flyers have been followed. I've passed on license plates.
His volunteers. You notice that he states his volunteers. Who falls in that category of his volunteers? Does anybody know?
Numbers to both Sumner County and TBI.
Would that be like Terry Lynn?
In the press conference, they were like, oh, nobody's being threatened or, followed or anything like that. And then, yeah, David Radar wants to open his mouth. You were there with TBI agents, buddy. I've got civilians out here handing out flyers.
Again, there's been no proof, but we're going to get into this further.
I don't see you coming to hand out flyers.
Trev Time says we were being watched when I was there. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the fact that they have drones and they can sit there and attempt to find my son. But what happened with this? They searched for 2 days last week. What's that? I mean, you searched for 2 days after what? After over a month of what? Not searching? I've gotten information from people that doesn't make sense.
There was massive searches in the days after he went missing.
Rockland Park, for example. I get some cadaver dogs, and then bam, automatically they find a dead body. But TBI was there the day before search.
They absolutely were. EquiSearch was talking about the threats with the Cajun Navy and stuff of that nature. And Cajun Navy did file a report of something in Nashville.
Well, did you not have any type of dog to go with you? No sniffers? No live dogs? No cadaver dogs? What? You just showed up and walked it. What kind of searching did you do?
It's all detailed on duty runs, what they did give out publicly. Law enforcement has detailed it many times too with all the search efforts that they've done in this case.
Doesn't make sense.
What makes no sense is that Seth knows this and he continues to play this it doesn't make sense game. That's what drives me nuts is he knows factually that law enforcement has put a lot of resources into this. But when he goes on these YouTube channels and things like this, he's painting a narrative to go along with the theories that they have been stating.
And what kind of a half-ass search is 2 days?
Good question.
2 whole days?
Well, when they can clear 43 ponds in 2 whole days, that's pretty amazing, wouldn't you say? They have high-tech equipment like thermal imaging drones and other things that they use because of their search efforts.
What, to get donations and everything? That's crazy.
Hey, Josh.
Well, I don't think they did any donations. I mean, it was Sumner County, TBI, and the FBI.
He states again that the FBI is involved.
They showed up to help search.
He knows that law enforcement has been searching and deploying resources to find Sebastian.
Did they have a possible lead for where they were searching? I don't know.
Well, according to what came out on your local news last night with Nick Barris, and he spoke with the district attorney in Sumner County, he said when they are told by TBI where to search, they go right out there. Do you see them out quite frequently searching?
I don't know where they're going to search because I don't get that information. So,
I mean, do the Bower Sox and Proudfoots have that kind of pull in that community?
I guess they do.
He knows that that's not true either. No family has the pull that is going to make law enforcement, TBI, the FBI, and the Secret Service all turn like, what? Seth, you know better. You work for the county, man. You know better than this. And you know they don't have the money to pay off all these. Oh, my God. Come on, dude.
I guess they do.
Do better than this. Your son deserves better than this.
Well, have you thought about possibly getting an attorney to help you like navigate with law enforcement and get things in the works so that way when Sebastian comes home, he comes straight to you?
Thought about it. More along the lines of private investigators and things like that. I mean, I've already spoken with CPS and I don't want him going back to their residence at all.
He talks like he is hopeful that Sebastian is alive. That is one thing I will say I'm glad to hear.
He doesn't deserve to be treated like that. Nobody does.
Seth, why didn't you step in before then?
You have found a lot of stuff out about his treatment just through listening to podcasts. I can't even imagine how that felt.
I can't imagine how it felt either, hearing all the rumors and speculations on YouTube and developing theories on the people that you have known and haven't intervened with anything because it's BS.
Listening to them make fun of the way he dances and the way he looks. I mean, seeing the reflection.
I'm sorry, but once again, I just have to state it. Saying a teenager is goofy is not an insult. I don't give a shit how many of you people try to twist it up and turn it into something else. That is not disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. Teenagers are goofy. I don't see it as they were mocking him one bit whatsoever.
Oh, the sneers and their facial expressions when they even talk about him. The fact that they can't even say his name.
I know it's a lot to take on, but, and I'm no attorney, so you would have to get
no shit, that's for sure.
This advice from an attorney. If you filed for, full custody of him right now, I don't know how that would go down considering the situation. Then law enforcement would have to deal with you and not them.
No, that's not how it works. Law enforcement would not be forced to deal just solely with Sebastian or with Seth over Sebastian. No, that's not how. No. Anybody involved in this, they will talk to, deal with, like, what the fuck?
I'd have to find an attorney.
Mark,
I haven't actually been
your
looking for
mother-in-law,
one, so
okay.
I guess turn around and look for an attorney. Something else to do too.
Well, you have a lot of love in this chat for sure.
I appreciate it.
He had a lot of love at this point in time. Again, I'm starting here because this was 12 days ago when he was still helping paint the narratives against the Proudfoot family. We're going to take a look at how drastic that changed.
I mean, I wish they would just lay the hammer down and say, you have until noon, which it's 11:49 here. I'm Central Time. I'm in Oklahoma. So you have until noon. I'll just throw out a number to produce Sebastian.
That makes a lot of sense, Brooks. That makes a whole lot of sense because I think by this point in time, law enforcement, if that was something that they thought was rational, they would have already done it. But okay.
Yeah, I've never known people to react kindly to threats. I know I don't.
Well, I mean, if it's law enforcement saying, you're going to go to jail unless you produce your son.
I don't know if they can do that.
No, they can't.
I mean,
they actually have to have evidence to prove that the parents committed a crime.
I'm just throwing things out there, but I mean, I think an attorney would help you immensely. Getting custody of Sebastian would help you immensely.
Getting custody of a child who is currently missing.
And then you can deal with law enforcement more than, them putting you on the side burner. Uh-oh, we lost Seth. Hang on.
Don't you think that there's a good possibility that he was put on the side burner for other reasons? Like YouTube tips that he was calling in that didn't. Anyways. Yo, Carla. We're not saying Seth is guilty. I'm not saying Seth is guilty. Seth's behavior is problematic because he's running with narratives that people on YouTube have been pushing. Let's continue to move along. So that was the end of that. Now we're going to go over to, let's go to 4:15. Okay, let's switch gears here. This is going to be about after Katie did the interview on TV. This is what Justin from TikTok, share this tab instead. Let me make sure you guys can see everything. Okay. You guys got it. What about Chris and Katie? Oh my God. What about what? Carla, I think you're really lost over here, especially. Anyways, okay, so this is from 9 days ago. So now we're going to go to 9 days ago. This is Justin on TikTok, this is his YouTube channel. If you think he spreads misinformation on YouTube, you should see his TikTok. He has, I think, over 1 million subs on TikTok. This is another source of a lot of misinformation, and I'm going to show you some of that today. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this, and we're going to start about the 14-minute mark.
Let's just play it. And hold on. Not the best volume here. If you're on TikTok, you're not going to be able to hear it. That's okay. If you want to jump over to YouTube, you can. Turn up my volume here so that y'all can see it.
Give me 1 second. Brianna says they're freezing him out because he can't keep his mouth shut and they don't want their investigation blasted and compromised on YouTube. It's not that hard to understand. Yeah, it really isn't, but seems like it's very difficult for some.
And I do want to give credit though first. This is from Red Rum Media. You can see her down there. You know, definitely give her a follow if you want to. I appreciate it. We're gonna play it though.
We're keeping our face and we're praying every day that we're going to find Sebastian.
What's the latest on the search?
So law enforcement is exploring any and all possibilities. They're communicating daily with us about updates and the statuses. We have faith that all the law enforcement agencies involved are doing everything that they can.
Sorry, the volume is really low on this, but that's the louder that it gets on this end too.
And we're going to find Sebastian and bring him home.
You know, the most important thing right now is to get the word out about.
I'm gonna pause here real quick. And the reason why is I want to address something that she said. We're going to find Sebastian. I can rewind it and show y'all. How is she going to find Sebastian when she's not out searching? I mean, it's a legit question. Like,
so now we expect parents to just completely stop everything that they do if they have a missing child and be out there every day doing something like they call searching.
how does she plan on finding him?
Letting law enforcement do their jobs. I mean, that would be high indication.
Like showing up? I don't. Anyways, I just wanted to point that little new one.
We probably included search professionals, actual search professionals that have been working with the family.
New one's out. Let me go play the rest of it.
About Sebastian. What would you like our viewers to know about your son?
Sebastian, he is high functioning autistic. He loves animals. He loves video games. He loves fishing. I'm so hungry. He's typically a very sweet boy. He can be quite temperamental though if he's overstimulated or if he's stressed out. He has a unique run. He runs like the Naruto anime character. When he's excited, he likes to dab and he loves music. He loves to dance.
That's all very helpful information. Now, if Sebastian's out there watching, what would you like to say to your son?
I would say, Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much.
Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much.
Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop. We're going to keep searching. We're going to find you. We're going to bring you home. And if you ever get an opportunity, find a phone, find a safe adult, call 911. But I'd also like to ask our community to please keep searching your properties. Keep sharing his flyer.
Keep searching their properties. Keep sharing his flyer.
If you know something or you see something, please say something. Call the law enforcement immediately.
We're going to do everything we
Okay, I'm done listening to her.
I'm done listening to the mom of a missing child. Doesn't fit my narrative.
Those were for Crocodile too. Maybe I'm just biased and maybe I'm jaded. But who is this weed
You think?
that she keeps talking about?
Probably law enforcement that she's actively working with.
Who is the we are going to keep searching? Because it sure as hell is not her.
Probably Seth, probably Chris. You know, we as in a family and law enforcement are going to continue to do everything we can.
Or her husband.
These people are such fun.
The emotions seemed like crocodile tears. It's just so...
We'll talk about what just so Justin shortly.
It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. So anyways, it's very challenging. It's challenging.
It's challenging to watch a mom suffering and having a missing child.
So that's basically the updates. Go sign the petition for him. That's really important.
It's really important to sign a petition to ask the FBI to get involved when the FBI is already involved. And these people claim that they do true crime.
I just don't. Okay, I'm not done. I just don't know how somebody has the audacity and the gall to go on TV, do a video, whatever she wants to do. Just like, let me pull this garbage up. Hold on, do I still have this saved?
He doesn't know how Katie has the gall to go on TV and beg for her son to come home and tell him she loves him.
Dude. You pulled this trash. Nope, that wasn't it. Where is it?
Carla, with all the disrespect intended, with all of the disrespect intended in every fucking ounce of my being, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares, okay? Nobody cares about your opinion and your misinformation. Period. Point blank, end of story. If you didn't hear me the first time, shut up. Get lost. You are painting a narrative to target Chris and Katie. Factually speaking, there's no proof that anybody did anything to Sebastian at this point in time. You've spread so much misinformation in my chat, and you've been loud to do it, and you've been loud to do it. Of course, I'm not playing the whole fucking video because he spreads a bunch of stupid shit. Guilty of what, Carla? Guilty of what? Carla over here, my friends. She needs lots of attention. Make sure you go sub up to Carla and follow her because she's better than the FBI, the TBI, the Secret Service, and all of them. She's got mediumship capabilities. What did your fucking cards tell you? Anyways, with all of the disrespect in every bone of my body, you're a fucking annoying misinformation crony. Have a blessed day. With all the disrespect intended. Every bit of it.
I'm going to pull this up real quick.
Every fucking
Right after I did the interview with Seth, she did this. She posted this whole long rant about...
This whole long rant was her response to what Seth had put out there about her son. This whole long rant was her responding to the misinformation and lack of privacy that Seth showed Sebastian. This whole long rant was because Seth found it his duty to release Sebastian's most private, intimate details. This isn't a rant. I would have said a whole lot hell more. Katie held back here.
How Seth basically outed the essay that happened to him, talking about the authorities. So basically there she confirmed what happened. But this whole thing is about attacking Seth. None of it has anything to do with finding her kid. And it's like she goes on this other thing and says, hey, we're looking for our kid, but you haven't been out once searching. You took the flyers off your car. You took the flyers off your RV. If you believe he's still out there, you wouldn't leave your home and go camping for an inordinate amount of time, some unknown amount. It's just, I just don't understand as a parent how she is not tearing the world, the town upside down looking for her kid unless she already knows where he is. I just don't see it.
You don't see anybody following law enforcement's instructions. Gotcha. Okay. It doesn't suit his need. Okay. We get that. Carry on.
Any other way of doing it. Again, it's like I've made this comparison before. It's different, but similar. Roberta Laundrie didn't go out and search until the day that park reopened. And even though law enforcement spent, hundreds, if not thousands of man hours and tons of money looking for Brian Laundrie, she walks in 45 minutes and finds him. She's not upset. She's not distraught. And I'm not trying to like judge the way people grieve. Everybody grieves differently. But she went to that park wearing black. She found him in 45 minutes. And this is kind of the, she's not been out once. She's going out having Easter dinner and traveling. And I'm going to stop. It's, to me, Seth is the only one that
going out for Easter dinner. God forbid that this family eat Easter dinner. God forbid that they don't do something that Justin here on TikTok, we should have stayed on fucking TikTok, where the misinformation is accepted at high rates of speed.
I have seen searching. And by the way, searching is not happening today. I'm not sure if it will be again, additionally this week. Apparently they've had some issues with people searching, with people causing issues and drama and things like that. So he's kind of trying to, I guess, get back to some kind of a baseline.
People causing issues and drama, and he's trying to get back to a baseline. We'll go into his baseline.
Line.
That's
at this point. So that's kind of what's going on. So, anyways, very frustrating.
These people just spew.
The next thing I want to talk about, and I don't have any screenshots to show y'all on this one, so I'm just going to talk to y'all, is Caleb Harris. So I spoke with Tony Mathis today.
Okay, so that's the end of that one. So now we're going to go over, hold on, we got it pulled up. Just a second. Now we're going to go to Justin on TikTok. Let's go down here. So now let's see where it is. 417.
Their son.
So you guys can watch this. Okay, so he talks about a bunch of different ones. We're going to about, let's see if this is right.
That 42 brothers out of the 152.
No.
By name. Instead of addressing the issue, because when we made these videos, especially early on as creators, there were so many people, Luke Bryant's ball.
Okay, no.
That this brother hurt his.
No.
A lot of people getting involved in the Sebastian Rogers case.
Here we go.
That are really muddying the waters.
Oh, really?
The other things that I want to talk about.
This is from the 17th. So the last one that we watched was a clip from the 17th. This starts about the 39-24 minute mark into his 417 video. Let's talk about misinformation that's given out. We've got a few of his.
Out are the polygraphs. So I know that Seth took his polygraph. To the best of my knowledge, to the best of Seth's knowledge, those results are not back.
Even though they're scored the same time. Okay.
When they come back, he'll share them.
And they came back inconclusive.
But apparently, according to some unknown source, there are creators on here who claim they have a source, and that's fine. I'm not saying their source isn't legit.
Pay attention to closely what he said. Some of them have sources. Just wait for it.
I'm always very apprehensive and skeptical, especially when you have somebody like Chris Proudfoot. But Chris is apparently saying, or apparently whatever this creator is saying, is that Chris Proudfoot took his polygraph and he passed. I don't see one news article about it.
Burton Staggs released that information.
I haven't seen anything.
You know how they conveniently won't tell you where this source is?
Come to me directly from any direct source. And I'm not saying that that doesn't make it untrue. I'm saying that I haven't.
Y'all, if that's the real ski mask, Andy, boot his ass out of here.
Seen it, and I will not, if I can help it, report on something unless I truly
Please and thank you, mods.
trust the source that I'm getting it from, or read about it in black and white by multiple people. Gotta do a quick shout out here, okay, because I see somebody in the chat. Why don't I make you bigger? There you go. I'm gonna put him up here. If you guys don't follow the Pascal show, you definitely should. I love Pascal. This man is my brother. Follow him. The work that he does on social media is incredible. Most of y'all,
oh yeah, we're gonna get there.
Probably follow him if you follow me.
I followed him because at one point in time, I really appreciated Pascal's coverage on stuff. However, I am so utterly disappointed in Pascal lately.
Go follow him. Go follow him.
Thank you, Revival.
But I don't trust the sources. Pascal,
Rapper.
you know what I'm going to do?
It's probably Rapper again.
I'm going to text you something. I'm going to send it to you. If you want to come up, it's up to you, man. Up to you. I know you're busy. If you want to come up, man, come up for a few minutes. I'm going to send you the link.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in Pascal.
We'll see if we can encourage him. Why can I not find?
We're going to fast forward him up.
Hold on, buddy. Hold, please. All right, there we go. All right, if he wants to come up, he is welcome to come up.
We're fast forwarding.
Pascal's awesome. Amazing. Definitely give him a follow.
Definitely puts out a lot of misinformation. Carry on.
But yeah, I just, until I see it myself, I'm just going to be a little bit skeptical about it.
Okay, remember this. Until he sees it himself, he's not big into the source thing, right? He doesn't run with misinformation. Okay, check that in your memory bank because we're going to come back to that.
That's what I got. There's no real updates on Sebastian other than that. And that in and of itself is frustrating. It's been 7-8 weeks now. There's no leads, no evidence. You have one parent, one person out there looking. A man who's literally killing himself.
He's literally killing himself, friends.
To do so. While the other one goes.
I know a lot of people with shoulder injuries.
Gallivanting.
They're just out gallivanting. Yeah. Okay.
West Tennessee to Mississippi to wherever. The other thing I want to address real quick is the Bauer socks. And I'm just going to speak very frankly about them because we know they went to Alaska. And I'm not saying, hey, let's not check Alaska. I'm not saying that. But
oh, here we go with the Alaska BS again.
They're also at the beach right now. I understand it's Puerto Rico. And people are like, I can't believe they're doing that while their grandchild's missing. Sebastian Rogers is not the Bauer Sox grandchild.
He's their step-grandchild.
I have seen enough about the Bauer Sox to, in my opinion, what I've observed is that they are toxic individuals who will do anything for their son, but other than that appear to be very selfish and self-centered. And if they have a kid here that they don't care about, which is how I interpret the way they feel about Sebastian, just in their actions.
Just in their actions because they went on scheduled vacations. I guarantee if something was going on and this was that case with my situation, I would tell my parents, go. You already paid for it. Go do this. Like, what in the absolute hell? But here's more of these false narratives.
Then they're going to take their vacations and they don't care. It doesn't mean that they're doing something nefarious. It just means
crazy.
It just means that they're not good people. You know, at least with this. The optics are terrible, guys. The optics are terrible. I don't know. I want to talk about the petition too real quick.
Cotton Candy, thank you so much for that. That was really sweet. Thanks for the super sticker. Yeah, let's listen to this petition again that he brought up on the 15th. Again, Seth created a petition for the FBI to take over, is my understanding of what he wanted. However, the FBI has been assisting in this case all along.
So for those of you who aren't aware, I would hope that most of y'all know at this point. Right now, the goal is 15,000, and we're trying to get more than that. But there is a Sebastian Rogers petition, and here's the purpose of this petition. Seth Rogers, I'll scroll down to show you. Started by Seth Rogers.
They're asking the FBI to take over the investigation.
Pascal's asking me. Seth is basically trying to get the FBI to take over this investigation. They're involved, but he wants them to take over, and we want enough people that they.
By the way, 99% of the time these petitions are useless, and I'm speaking very bluntly about that because there is action steps that are needed behind these. And when you have the FBI assisting already, this is redundancy. This was just, in my opinion, more drama, more to paint the narrative that law enforcement isn't doing their jobs in this case. That's why we need FBI, who has been assisting. He has said it himself. You heard Seth admit that the FBI was out there with EchoSearch. You've heard him say that FBI is assisting. He's spoken to FBI. So this is all, again, filler stuff that doesn't mean anything, doesn't change the baseline of this case, in my opinion.
They take notice. So go sign it. The easiest way to find it is go to the link in my bio. And you can just sign it. It's real easy. Link in my bio, justontiktok.com if you're not looking at it. Can't see my bio, can't get to it. Just on TikTok.
Oh, I got to add this guy's mug to the... I'm running out of spaces for all these faces.
TikTok.com. Very simple. And scroll down to the link section. It's the very top link. Sign it. We're at 12/5/32. Pascal, I think, is going to come on for a few minutes, by the way. Real quick while we're waiting for Pascal, I'm going to show y'all something. Let's go to something I almost want to say lighter, but it's not really lighter.
True crime cases or creators. Yes, Tracy, you're right. You're right. True crime creators know how this goes, and I think would have advised him, especially the ones that he's comfortable with, that have direct contact with him, that, hey, this is redundancy. They're already assisting. This petition is not worth your time.
Let me share the story with you guys.
I don't know.
I was going to share it. I just want to see y'all's headline. You guys see your face when you see the headline. I can't see your face, but why is it down?
Oh, thanks, Buttercup. I appreciate that.
I don't know why it's not showing up the way it should. Okay, well, you can't see it, but here's what the headline says. Woman accused of...
Okay, let me read your comment. Does anyone feel like the problem going on with these creators is they get too close to a family, that it kind of blurs the line and their vision gets skewed? This case in your channel has opened my eyes so much. Jessica Danielle, I can only speak for myself on this. So please feel free, everybody in the comments, to answer Jessica's question too, whatever you find reasonable or whatever your thoughts are, especially if you're a creator. I don't think it has to do with personal family involvement. I think this was intentional from the jump. When the family came out and said that they were working as a united front, in order for these cases to have a lure for an audience, for subs, there has to be drama filled in them. I think that they position themselves like JLR. A lot of the speculation, misinformation are coming from the Facebook groups that JLR has created, who he admits himself that he likes to troll these high profile things and gets involved in. There is such a different dynamic here. I think that some of it intentionally comes from the family because I think we're seeing some revenge, but they grab onto these cases, in my opinion, that have some sort of drama, and they can make a division and they divide and conquer, because without that, if a family is a united front, the family's going to stand against the misinformation together and constantly put that down. They have to have a villain. They have to have a good guy, a bad guy. It's good versus evil in their heads. And they have to make somebody out to be this way. It's lack of due diligence. It's lack of understanding how these cases actually work. And it's just to paint a narrative. It's to paint a direction for a story. Basically, they are storytellers. They don't care about fact basis. They are telling a story. The most salacious story will sell. Does that make sense? That is my opinion on it.
Wheeling dead uncle into a bank to sign the loan. Basically what happened.
Because truthfully, none of these people advocate for victims. Because if you're advocating for victims or awareness for victims, you're speaking very factually. You will absolutely do some speculating and theorizing of, okay, could this be potential? Could this be potential, with respect to the family and the victim at hand? That's not what's happening here. It's a complete smear campaign of all of the family members are being kicked while they're in the worst time. It doesn't matter for them, in my opinion, because as you see, people in here are so, even in the comment section, Carla, for instance, she is so hell-bent on Katie and Chris being guilty and Seth being a hero, when in reality, factually speaking, we don't have anything to allude to any of them being a villain at this moment.
Was she took the guy in, calling him Uncle Paolo, acted like he was alive. On the cameras, you could clearly tell he was not alive, secured a loan of $3,250 and walked out.
I am Grow. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. That was really sweet.
She got confronted by the police.
Okay, we're going to switch gears again. Now you heard him state that. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me switch gears. Now we're going to go. I know you guys are going to kick me for this one, but we are going to go. I'm going to interrupt you guys for a second. We're going to shift gears off of Justin for a moment, because I want to show some more about how these narratives are painted. So we have JLR over here, our wonderful, troll extraordinaire, who has a Facebook group, who has been involved in this and spreading misinformation from pretty much jump. Let me make sure we're on the right one. Okay.
Good morning. A lot to talk about. JLR investigates. Come on in, everyone.
And his weird hand movements. I will try to be as professional and not make fun of him, because he drives me nuts.
We are talking about the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, 15-year-old boy, autism, missing since around February 26, 2024. Big things transpired yesterday, and the internet seems like they are outraged by what happened yesterday. There was a vigil yesterday down the street from where the prophets live to honor and respect, bring awareness to Sebastian. But then something transpired there that just took the internet by storm. And I'm going to show you the first picture right here, because I am shocked by what has happened here. And this is basically as no.
I don't know how he's shocked by this, because we know, factually speaking, that JLR was boots on the ground in Tennessee, had met up with Seth. Seth was even telling JLR, get your camera out, make sure you get this on camera, and doing stuff like that. So I'm not sure why JLR would be shocked by this. I don't think he is shocked by this. I think it's just content.
No one expected this at all, folks. No one expected this at all. So yesterday at the Vigil, before, and this was at the school down the street, Chris Proudfoot rolls up and he goes face to face with Seth Rogers. Now look at this photo. Look at this photo, everyone. What does this look like to you? And to me, it looks like Chris is kind of overpowering Seth and, telling Seth what he feels is on his mind. Or could there be something else to this? Because my sources, I talked to people connected with this case. I talked to people that were there in present and seeing what was happening.
Okay, let's highlight a few of JLR's sources. JLR has came out and said that he had a source that Chris was having an affair, which we have never heard any more about. We know that Sweetie Pilo had sources that never panned out. We know that there's been so many rumors started off of these sources. Again, as long as you say you have sources, you can just say anything else, I guess. Okay.
And they got in an argument, folks. They were arguing. And Chris seemed like the more vocal one. Chris was just going on and on. They were yelling. There was cussing. There was all types of, let me just say, it didn't look pretty. It didn't look pretty, folks. I think that Seth Rogers didn't even expect Chris to roll up there. No one expected Chris to go to a Vigil, right? There was multiple other Vigils prior. Chris and Katie has never showed up to a Vigil, but then suddenly Chris rolls up.
To try to,
Gets into a heated argument with Seth. And then eventually it calmed down, folks.
If it was so heated, why didn't we see that exchange? Why didn't nobody film if it was so heated and all of this stuff? Why did they just take pictures?
It calmed down. But once it calmed down, Seth Rogers gave a statement. And I want to share with you what Seth Rogers said, because this has taken the internet by storm. People are, Seth has lost the internet. Like maybe
Seth has lost the internet. Okay, pay attention to where JLR is going to lead us. And then we're going to walk through. We're going to go back to Justin on TikTok after this. You've heard some of how Seth, what he says when he's on with creators, some of the narrative that is painted. And now you're going to hear this shift.
3/4 of the internet. A lot of people feel like they're backstabbed and betrayed by this. And we're going to talk about this because I'm going to show you what people are saying about this comics. This
strangers on the internet feel that they've been backstabbed.
Just, my mind is just like, that's how I feel about this. So this is right after.
JLR, that's your mind all the time. Seriously.
Chris and Seth get into this argument, and then cooler heads prevail. And this is what Seth says.
Me and Chris are putting our differences aside. It's not about our egos. It's about finding Sebastian. Me, Chris, and Katie will begin working together. And if everybody else could just fuck off and put your egos aside, help us find our son. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is the goal of this shit. If you can't get on that, me and Chris are putting our differences aside. It's not about our egos. It's about finding Sebastian. Me, Chris, and Katie will begin working together. And if everybody else could just fuck off and put your egos aside.
Now, people are furious by that because it seems like, I don't know if Seth really means that on numerous fronts.
Why would the internet be furious about parents working together for their missing son? Why? How would the internet be furious about this? This is about Sebastian. This goes back to the narratives that people paint to create a bad versus good and evil versus angels, whatever the hell. This is that narrative painting. They make somebody the hero and somebody the villain. So this is when the hero lets them all down because he decides to work with the other parents. Like, how fucking weird, people.
Or was told, you're going to work with me, Chris, because the way I was told was Chris more or less like strong-armed him and yelled at him. And Seth was yelling back.
So Chris strong-armed Seth. He strong-armed Seth. That's not what I see.
But it was Chris, and then Seth calmed down, and then Seth agreed with him, and then Seth comes forward and says this, and then kind of throws it, everyone else can just F off. We're going to be working together. Now, I'm shocked on that because
I'm shocked on that, JLR. JLR's shocked. This is his shocked face, friends. JLR, the reason why you're shocked by this is because it doesn't paint the narrative that you and your Facebook group have been trying to paint from day one. This goes against the grain. This means that all of the salacious BS would stop.
perception and the way we've been seeing this whole case transpired, you know, the actions of Chris and Katie Proudfoot at the beginning stages when Sebastian went missing, and then we have Seth Rogers. And what we've been seeing was a couple weeks into it, Seth Rogers took the initiative to go out and search while the Proudfoots would be wherever, not searching. And it seems like many of the public has gravitated around Seth, saying he's finding his son, he's trying to help. The Proudfoots aren't. Seth at the same time would go on multiple podcasts and say very bad things about Chris and Katie.
JLR is telling you the exact narrative that they have been painting, and Seth has been helping. He would go on podcasts and say a bunch of things about Chris and Katie. Again, the intent behind this is all for a story.
About things that transpired inside their home. For instance, he talked about, you know, Sebastian getting SA'd in the Proudfoot's home. And people felt, they felt like, hey, I want to help, I want to support, and donated a lot of money to Seth.
Here comes that money part.
Rogers in his quest to find his son. Where people feel like they're doing that because they're like, okay, this guy Seth is helping find Sebastian. The Proudfoots have something to do with it. We're gonna try, you know, we're gonna pick sides. We're gonna rally in support of Seth. And
he says it right there. Pick sides. We're going to pick sides. Again, this is the narratives.
We're gonna help him by all means necessary. But to hear this now, people are like, whoa, they feel betrayed. Some are demanding their money back.
Some of them are demanding their money back. This is why I brought up the GoFundMe, and Tracy actually put in, thankfully, all of the information on the GoFundMe. People are demanding their money back. The GoFundMe from Jump was for Seth because bills don't stop. It had nothing to do with anything about him working with Katie or Chris. There was no disclaimer in there that said, you donate money here, I will never talk to Katie and Chris or be on the same team of finding my son with them.
I'm at a loss of words here of why this would transpire. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Now I get it, but you know, I've been getting, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. We talked about this a couple days ago. It's been reported that Chris Proudfoot took a polygraph test.
The narrative. The Proudfoots were 3 weeks deep into this before JLR even knew who Sebastian was. That is factual. And why do you think they got involved in this? Why do you think they didn't do like they do with other cases? Because there was the opportunity to paint narratives, to create a story, to sell a salacious story.
And he passed. He took a TBI polygraph test and he passed. It's going to get reported that Seth Rogers took a polygraph test. My sources told me he actually failed a polygraph test, but it's going to come back inconclusive because at the time,
his sources again,
he was sleeping, he was on medications or whatnot. I kept falling asleep during the course of the polygraph, maybe because he was up, you know, days or medications or whatnot for his shoulder. This is coming from Robin Rogers' own mom, who said it's going to come back inconclusive. So now, you know, I thought, okay, how's the public going to feel when it comes out that Chris took a polygraph and passed? If he did take a polygraph, it's being reported that he did. I mean, there's a lot of people out there saying they can confirm. Multiple sources have told me Chris took a polygraph and passed. So now you have Chris taking a polygraph pass. You got Seth has an inconclusive polygraph. It seems like the whole thing just switched. The whole thing just switched. Then you got Katie Proudfoot going on Reels the other night and saying that she's in correspondence every day with the TBI and law enforcement, giving them updates. While at the same time, you got Seth Rogers, who goes on podcasts, multiple YouTube channels, and says that he doesn't even speak to law enforcement. Law enforcement won't even speak to him. Unbelievable, folks. I'm at a loss of words.
He is definitely not at a loss for words. This is JLR's moneymaker, and he's not even in it for the money. JLR is the king of trolling this stuff. And I'm not laughing at the situation because it's disgusting that he's using a missing child. This is JLR. JLR is absolutely doing this for self-serving needs. Maybe not the money with him because I don't think he's money motivated. I think all of this BS is exactly, he loves to stir chaos.
For anyone that doesn't know, the group that we have the biggest, most thorough Facebook group out there dedicated to Sebastian. We do promote it. I keep sharing it. But if you want to see how the public feels in that area, because there's people in the group that know the Proudfoots, know the Rogers, are living in the community. There's people in the group that have been searching. People share searches. They share everything in this group. And they are outraged. They are outraged by
JLR. Sorry, I am not a fan of JLR in any way, shape, or form. JLR fearmongers. JLR is the epitome of a fearmonger. He doesn't do good boots on the ground. He gets himself involved in salacious stuff, hot topics, current events. That's all he does. But most of these things that he does have victims involved, and he just sells a story.
By the uniting of Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, and Seth Rogers. So join the group, 33,000 300 members. And we keep growing and growing and growing. And I'm telling you, in the group here, the public has been outraged. And, you know, I personally think that Seth has lost 3/4 of his support, maybe even more. His own private eye put out a statement about it and kind of said it, you know, here's the thing is about it. People are like,
So now you hear JLR say publicly that Seth has lost 3/4 of his support.
like, well, did Seth just say F off to everyone that just contributed and everything like that? It's not necessarily that. I don't believe he said that, like, F off to just everyone that did everything that could define Sebastian. But I do think he did mean F off if you
I definitely will get the link as soon as I'm back in the house.
don't support, F off if you don't support those three working together. At this point moving forward, we have to accept Seth, Katie, and Chris working together to find Sebastian. Do you agree with that? Or
Yes, it should have been that way from the jump, but that wouldn't have been a story for you guys.
are you in the point where you're going to put your differences aside? Or again, we're not the parents here. We're just outsiders. We're just volunteers. We're YouTubers. We're some journalists. We're just people that want to try to find Sebastian. But you got Seth saying he's going to work with the Proudfoots. What do you think? People are posting memes about the situation. Look at this. People are posting memes now. I personally think this is not going to go well for Seth Rogers. I think Seth Rogers is going to lose a lot of support. So Sue Sacco,
This is almost a warning to him. This is almost a warning at the time of, hey, if you do this, if you continue to work on their side and not help us paint a narrative, we're going to make sure the internet turns against you, Seth.
thank you for your support. Sue Sacco says, I feel Seth did not mean it the way it came out. I feel he meant it. If you're not about Sebastian, you can F off. I am behind Seth, and sometimes you have to dance with the devil. That is what he is doing. And that's what some people say. Some people say, is this instructed by the PI to know your enemies and keep your enemies close?
Oh my God, I'm so sick of this whole, like, he's dancing with the devil. They have a missing child. They should have worked together from jump.
Some people speculate that Chris went to Seth because Seth and them are going to keep Seth close. Because someone knows something about Sebastian. But now you have all the three participants who TBI is not cleared, law enforcement is not cleared, now working together. What in the world's going on here? How does that even make sense? Can someone...
It makes a lot of sense that the parents of a missing child would be on the same page and want the best for the outcome of their missing child.
Explain to me how that makes sense. Because remember, folks, and I'm going to show you this clip. Justin with TikTok spoke to Seth Rogers, right? This is why people are mad also. Because
we'll go ahead and just switch gears here for a moment. We're going to go over here and we're going to watch Justin from TikTok. We're going to see what Justin put out here and show you how this was all done. Let's get to this part. Let's see here. Okay.
Of the Columbine shooting, if you can believe it, has been 25 years. And then there's a story that I'm going to kind of give you all a little bit of a preview on. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. But in Indiana,
we'll go through that.
Silence her. That we have to go through.
Oh,
there is some shameless self-promotion that we have to go through.
Shameless.
Right? So the first thing I got to do, as always, I have a podcast for those of y'all who don't know, 50 Words for Murder. And everything I'm sharing with you on this next thing, you get to go to the link in my bio, which is justinontiktok.com. Let me scroll that across the bottom for you guys. justinontiktok.com. A lot of the interviews we do and things like that, if you take them on the go, you go to the podcast, it'll take you to Spotify if you click on the link in my bio or on my website, but you can listen to anywhere where you listen to podcasts. The next thing I want to kind of share with you is, a lot of y'all know I have written 2 books. The first one is called Boundaries. The Boundaries is about basically a little girl who wonders why she has never met her dad's parents. And when she gets the courage to ask, they tell her that, hey, these people are a little bit basically toxic. They have behaviors that aren't good for our family. So we made a difficult decision to go no contact.
Oh, shocking why Justin's out here calling parts of the family toxic when he's trying to sell books about boundaries. Oh, shocking. Wouldn't it be?
And it's a way that's easy to explain that to your kids in a way that is easy for them to understand and doesn't vilify the person. At the same time, just so y'all know, I don't know if I've given y'all this stat, 26% of millennials and Gen Z are no contact with parents. A pretty big number. Then after that, this goes into the importance of boundaries, and we all want to teach our kids about boundaries. And then lastly, my newest book is out. Surprise our Casey. If not, I'm still waiting for the hardcover. This book is just what it says. It's teaching kids to not keep secrets, especially for adults. At the end, there's a Q&A that you can have.
You get the self-promotion.
If you are new here, Rogers Night, which was at Beach High School, it was not a lot of notice, so it wasn't the biggest crowd. There was about 35, 40 people there in all. It wasn't the biggest crowd because there wasn't a lot of notice. I got wind of it, I think, yesterday, and then he was saying that they were trying to get it done However, you know, we had to wait until basically today to get all the information. And then when you tried to post it in a lot of the groups, they wouldn't let you. So the next one's going to be in about 2 weeks, probably at Long Hollow Baptist Church if you're in the area. And I will keep you guys posted on that. But when I arrived, I took this picture. There is Chris Proudfoot talking to Seth Rogers. And I've seen a lot of the comments.
Doesn't that angle look a lot different than the other ones that we've seen?
In this chat, as I was waiting for this live to start, and in my
But we just heard the words like strong-armed. He's strong-armed, Seth.
My video on TikTok and on here on YouTube that I've done. And I think a lot of y'all are misunderstanding what's going on here. So we're going to break that down for y'all tonight. I think a lot of y'all are misunderstanding the comments that Seth made. Seth has his own way of speaking. I thought when we recorded it, it was good.
I thought when we recorded it. Interesting.
Perhaps the wording could have been a little bit different based on what I'm seeing and the way it's being interpreted. But we're going to get into that a little bit more. So first, I know that a lot of y'all are like, what's he talking about? What's this video that he's referring to? So I'm going to show y'all a couple things. The first thing I'm going to show you is the video that's in question where he's allegedly telling everybody to F off. And I mean, he is, but it's not in the...
None ya biz. Inside, when I watch these creators, especially after 6, 7, 9 hours self-promoting, like, god dang, I like some of the tunes, but yo, you so solid and ain't got out of that chair to even donate time. I'm just gonna let that be because I don't know what the fuck you're trying to say.
The way that y'all think, and we'll explain that. And then the next thing I'm going to show you after that, after we talk about that, is what he said at the end of the vigil. Which, by the way, the entire vigil, for those of y'all who are interested in watching it, is on YouTube as well on my channel. It's been uploaded. You can go check it out. So without further ado on that, let me pull this up and let y'all just, give it a listen.
Me and Chris are putting our differences aside. It's not about our egos. It's about finding Sebastian.
Should have never been about egos to begin with.
Me, Chris, and Katie will begin working together. If everybody else could just fuck off and put your egos aside, help us find our son. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is the goal of this shit. If you can't get on that, get the fuck off.
All right. So you heard it. He's not telling people to F off. He's saying that if you can't get on the page of Finding Sebastian, F off. And let me kind of give you guys a little bit of context on this.
Okay. Context.
Let me give you a little bit of context on this. Basically, he is coming off of, well, there's a lot to unpack here. Let me start with this. He's coming off.
None of your business. I don't know what you're talking about. Truthfully, I'm really not following what you're saying here.
Of a lot of creators on this app, on Facebook, and other apps who have been just dogging him for the past week and a half. And he's aware of it. He doesn't necessarily get his feelings hurt by public opinion. And
he doesn't get his feelings hurt by public opinion, but JLR just stated that 3/4 of Seth's supporters, which is weird that any of the parents have a fan club. Okay.
This has been a huge battle for him. You got to think where he's been. And this is me looking at it from putting a bias aside, okay?
Okay, this is him putting his bias aside. Let's hear it, Justin. This is the point right here.
Because I've made it very clear on these posts when I've done videos that I'm not a fan of the Proudfoots. That's no secret. Okay? No.
Again, this is why he's not true crime.
Not a fan of them. I've seen Seth out there searching every single day, and to me, actions speak.
He's seen Seth out there searching every single day. Okay. Those words are important.
Very loudly. A lot of people in the comments are saying, I can't believe after everything Chris Proudfoot's done, everything Chris Proudfoot said, that they're willing to bury the hatchet and put aside their differences. Putting aside your differences isn't the same as forgetting the issues. Putting aside your differences is he's got the battle of searching for his child. He'll probably be on here, by the way, tomorrow night or the night after. But it's putting away the differences to search for your child. Because if you think about it and you've been watching and you've been listening very closely, it is a battle. You have had
a battle that he started, in my opinion.
Chris Proudfoot tried to stop him from the GoFundMe.
We know why the GoFundMe was a problem, and I'm sure Seth is realizing that now, why it's a problem, because people are even pulling their support because he's stating that he was going to work beside them.
They've showed up and tried to make issues with every vigil, with every...
They've showed up and tried to create issues with every vigil. No, they have not. No, because you guys bitch and complain because they haven't been to any of them. So that's not factual.
Church, taking, flyers off, having people.
That is, again, rumor. All of the stuff that he's using to paint a narrative has been speculation and rumors. There has been no proof of that supposed phone call that Seth got of them catching Chris taking flyers down. Again, complete rumors.
Follow. It has been a battle. So not only is Seth having to fight and look for his son and fight the authorities, fight law enforcement, fight all these people who are accusing.
Why would he have to fight law enforcement? That makes no sense that he's fighting law enforcement.
Him of things or whatever the case is on social media. And I'll leave that part at that. But he's also having to fight his ex-wife and he's having to fight Chris Proudfoot. And
no, in the beginning of this, they were working as a united front. That's the way it stayed until TikTokers like you who run with rumors and speculation got involved and decided to paint a salacious story.
It's exhausting. So at this point, Chris shows up, and I'll just be very candid from what I understand. I didn't witness this part, so I'm just going to tell you this is all secondhand. And apparently it started out really heated.
But yet we don't see any of that.
Really aggressive. They were not getting along. And then finally, it got to the point where he basically said, look, at the end of the day, the bottom line is that we need to find Sebastian. And
however, we factually know that Chris went there to squash some stuff so they could do what was right for Sebastian.
If we can put aside our differences long enough to find Sebastian, that's what's important. It's easier to work together than to have to fight another battle. And it's common.
A battle that he created by releasing Sebastian's most private, intimate details of his life.
Since y'all, if you watch that video and you hear how he words it, he says, if you can't get on board with this, then F off. He's not telling you to like F off just because of whatever. He's saying that basically if you can't make it about Sebastian and not Team Chris and Katie or Team Seth.
And that is so fucking weird that there's even Team Chris and Katie and Team Seth. Factually speaking, we don't have information that the parents were involved in anything at this point in time. None of them.
Make it Team Sebastian, then that's a problem. And again, this came from a discussion that we had literally a few seconds prior about the fact that there are people out there on various apps, various platforms.
A conversation they had a few seconds prior to recording this.
That are picking sides and spending their whole time talking about Chris, Katie, and him and not talking about Sebastian.
I wonder why that happens.
So you guys might not like the wording that he did, but that is the wording that he did. That's just what it is. So you set it aside until. Now looking in the comments, I'm seeing some of them scrolling. Somebody said Seth has not been searching. I'm going to pull it up. I have physically been out there with Seth while he searched. I have physically been out there. I've physically been out there. Sorry, I was coughing. He was out there searching today. I was not out there today. He was out there searching today. Seth has been out there pretty much every day. There's a search now this week.
Now it's pretty much every day.
There haven't been that many searches during the week. They picked him up this week and they'll be out there tomorrow again.
Oh, wait, but you said in the beginning of this, you know for a fact he's been out there searching every single day. You've seen with your own eyes. Now it's, well, they didn't do that many searches this week. They picked it back up on the weekend. This isn't helping Seth or his image. Just be factual. He's searching as much as he possibly can.
Searching. So that's true.
Not that hard. Not that fucking hard.
The next thing I'm going to share with y'all is this. Let me get it pulled up real quick here.
Yep, absolutely chasing.
At the end of the Vigil, Seth said something else. And I'm going to share that with you. Seth's
fan club was also at the Vigil, aka Terry Lynn and Justin on TikTok.
I get it pulled up. Because this is what he said right before he made that video.
I appreciate everybody's support. Please keep my son in your thoughts and prayers. Appreciate you to find him. You know, his mama wants him back. I want him back. His family needs him back. Keep your heads up and your eyes open.
I'll share his poster. You can pull his poster off anywhere. And what I'll tell you that you can't tell that he's wearing glasses is that he was literally in tears when he was saying that. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are not quite.
But Katie, when Katie cries, it's crocodile tears. Okay.
Understanding what's going on here.
No, we're understanding Flat out. I think most of us can see very clearly what's happening here. Sebastian got lost. Sebastian, the focus of Sebastian being missing has gotten lost in all the drama and the chaos. That was a lot created by Seth and YouTube creators, TikTok creators, people who want a villain.
And it's very easy to sit from, look, again, I'm not a fan of the Proudfoots. To me, the actions speak louder than words. I've not seen them search. I've not seen them do anything of value to find this kid. I have seen them battle Seth. Imagine that you are in a situation.
You've seen them battle Seth where? Where? Because she has to respond after Seth releases super private personal details that the internet didn't need to know. I would have been battling a lot worse than that, let me tell you. I probably would have ended up in jail over that. Katie has way more self-control than I ever would have, because I tell you what, had that been done to my kid who was actively missing and their biological father came out and released that information for no reason, it's not going to help find him. There is no value in us knowing that information. Law enforcement, yes, not us.
Where not only are you trying to find your kid, but you're having to battle your ex at every step. And if you can make that go away, at least for a time being, wouldn't you do that? It's pretty.
And factually speaking, they're not battling him. They haven't tried to stop him going on how many interviews? 40 plus now, running all over doing a tour. I haven't seen them battling him at all.
It's pretty self-explanatory. So to sit there and get mad over it when it's very clear to me what he said and where people are exaggerating what he said, I just don't think that that's fair. That's all. I tried to get him to come on tonight to talk a little bit more about it, but he was exhausted. His arm was in a lot of pain. He was going to try to get some sleep, but we might have him on tomorrow. Anyways, that's what I want to say about that. And I can make another video on TikTok, but I think that what he said is important. I don't want to edit what he says. He has his own way of speaking. And I think he spoke from the heart. And I think that he is truly appreciative of what everything and everybody has done. All he's saying is, stop, while this is going on, let's all work together to find this kid. That's all he's saying.
And that's what it should have been left at. It should have been, hey, we need to be united for our son. That's what matters in this. End of. I could care less about his colorful language. You guys know that. I didn't take anything from that. Besides, this is supposed to be about Sebastian. But the problem I have is that the next morning, he went and sat on Peter Hyatt's channel the very next day, not even 24 hours later, and sat there as Peter was trashing Katie and basically painting a narrative about Katie. He sat there the entire time.
That's all he's saying. And believe me, I want so bad personally. Look, I had somebody come on TikTok this week and say, well, you're as a news person or as a journalist, whatever, you should be, you showing your bias. Y'all, I'm not a journalist.
We know that.
I mean, I guess I could be titled technically a digital journalist.
Nah, let's not give you that title either. Misinformation crony? Absolutely.
I'm a guy who tells stories. I'm not part of a news team.
I'm a guy who tells stories. Thank you for admitting that. And the more salacious the story, the more clicks and views you get, and the more money you make to sell your fucking books, right?
I don't have to not have a bias. I'm allowed to have a bias.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes I show it. And I show it sometimes. I show it often in cases like this.
Oh.
I showed it during Gabby Petito. Because I look at the actions of what people do, and I go from there.
Come here. Bring me your baby. Come here.
Hopefully that makes sense for some people.
Yeah.
Again, he'll possibly be on tomorrow.
Come here.
We'll get into in a second while it may be him, it may not. Because I do have a really awesome, whatever it's going to be pretty awesome tomorrow.
Bring it here.
So yeah. That's what's going on with that. Anyways, the Vigil is nice. There's supposed to be another one in 2 weeks. And supposedly Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot are going to be at the one at Long Hollow in 2 weeks. And I hope that in the next 2 weeks, we see some action from them. That is more than them going off camping or eating or riding motorcycles.
Camping, eating, and riding motorcycles. We haven't seen any of that. Camping is totally different than having an RV somewhere so somebody can work. Eating is kind of a necessary evil. All of us know that. You kind of have to eat in order to stay alive. I mean, and riding motorcycles because somebody took a picture of them at the Harley Davidson shop. Meanwhile, they were wearing their shirts of Sebastian being missing.
I hope that we see more.
I hope that we see more, meaning that if we don't see what we deem necessary, we're going to continue to trash them all over social media. Gotcha.
This man, like, look, I don't need to defend Seth. Okay, Seth can defend himself, but I'm just gonna tell you what I see personally. This is a man that has nobody but the few people who are willing to come out and look with him. He's got no family helping him. Sebastian has no.
His mom and dad were there.
Other family helping him.
EquiSearch has been there. Law enforcement has been there. A ton of people have been helping him. I don't know where this is coming from.
That we have seen other than Seth. And remember this.
But according to CJ's been the only one out there searching. So which is it?
It is about Sebastian, 100%. And that is all he is saying.
Should have stayed that way from the jump.
I don't want to beat this horse to death. So
go ahead and continue.
I want to move on to something else real quick. But before I do, let me tell you what's kind of going on tomorrow. Okay. So it could possibly be Seth coming on tomorrow. That's very possible.
This is how you do a cliffhanger so people come back and tune in for your next show. For creators, this is how you sell yourself. Okay? If you don't get the clues here, I'm telling you verbatim what's happening. He doesn't have a confirmation show, but people want to hear Seth speak. So this is the cliffhanger. Hang on. So you'll come back for the next show.
Somebody said something in the comments that I want to address in a second. So I will come back to your Oklahoma question in a second. But today is the 25th anniversary of Columbine, and I've reached out to and been talking to the foundation that was created after Rachel Scott, who was the first victim.
Okay, we're going to pause here for a minute. Brianna says, these people are the reason Seth can't get any info about his son from the TBI. Pascal, Slimy, this asshole, Josh, all of them. It's their fault Seth lost his access. How about some self-awareness here? I agree with you on that, but I also have to give Seth, he has accountability in that too. Seth has accountability in that too. And as much as I don't think Seth is guilty of anything, he absolutely fell into this. And from my perspective, this is my opinion only. Please take it for what it is. And I'm saying that very bluntly. Even though I don't think Seth is guilty of anything with the disappearance of Sebastian, we don't have anything that states he is. I also think that Seth made critical errors in this because I see a very, very bitter ex who Katie was the breadwinner. Katie raised their son. She enlisted in the military. She's successful. She remarried. She's happy. I see a lot of revenge in this and blaming. And I think that's natural too, to some extent, to when a child is missing and you have had previous past history with a person. I think the blame game is natural. I think you want to blame somebody for what is going on. I think so. There's a natural part of that, but I also see that we are seeing creators be able to identify that there is a divide and there was willingness to trash Katie because of terrible environments. That's my personal opinion on it, but I can't overlook the revenge it seems that Seth is getting in this. Okay, now we are switching gears once again. Everybody following me so far? Y'all getting a view of where these narratives get painted? I know a lot of you already understand this. There's a lot of creators in the comments that see this very bluntly. I know Chasing is here and she has talked about it very eloquently. I do not do that. I name, shame, and cuss them all out. That's my gift to the world. You're welcome. But there's a lot of you in here that have been watching this for a long time. I think this case itself is kind of a culmination of frustration that they're bringing in from other cases with the TBI. I think this is it's a playbook that they use. Truly, it's a playbook that they use to build content and views and sell a salacious story. If you guys have questions about where we're headed, why we're heading this way, I'm trying to show you guys how narratives are painted by, I don't even want to call Seth. Seth is being reckless, in my opinion. That's the nicest way I can put it. He's being reckless. And I think that's the nicest thing I probably could say about the situation currently is reckless. I think there's a lot of other terms that could be used, and probably when it's over, I probably will use them. But for right now, we're just going to say that. Now we are going over to Pascal, who Pascal has been a huge disappointment. So this is Pascal's talk with Seth after the announcement came out by Justin on TikTok and JLR and all of them about he was going to be working with the Proudfoot family. We're going to skip through this some because it's an hour and 20 minutes long, but I'm going to kind of give you some key points.
That like button down below, please, and thank you. That really said. We got things to talk about. There's some things going on. All right. First off,
can I just say it again? I am so disappointed in Pascal. So disappointed, Pascal. I know you don't care at all, but this hurts. You, of all of these creators, I never, ever expected. I had so much respect for this man before because I really saw him fight for some things that most other people wouldn't do. And this is very disappointing. Granted, I didn't know him that well or anything, but just on YouTube as a creator, I never saw this from him before.
All right. There was a prayer vigil last night for Sebastian Rogers. All right. And from my understanding, from what I've seen out here in these streets, it was a very beautiful turnout. A lot of people came together. A lot of people showed
grannies, and that was before my time. All of that was before my time. So my perspective on some of these people have just been what I've seen them do. I didn't even know that until just recently that that's where he started out from. No clue.
Support. We're wearing some sort of green and trying to.
But I'll be honest, Terry Lynn is from the 90-day fiance community. Terry Lynn is from the 90-day gossip BS. And now in true crime, I think people see that people in chaos and vulnerable, there's a lot of money that's thrown around with emotional manipulation in this true crime, whatever arena. I think it's more profitable a lot of times.
To show some support in regards to
you weren't
finding Sebastian. I think that's the one major thing that we all got to remember. We're all here, or we were all there, or people were all there in support in finding Sebastian. That should be the major number one common denominator within this whole thing. I just need to make that abundantly clear.
Okay, then I need to make this abundantly clear. If it was about Sebastian, then this wouldn't be a shocking update. If it was about Sebastian, you would have came out and said, yes, the parents are finally doing. But that would have also meant that you would have shut this down a long time ago when Seth was on your podcast spewing personal, private information that you've ran with. You would have shut that down. If it was about Sebastian for you, you would have shut a lot of the shit down as it happened. And there wouldn't be a shocking update here because you would be like, hell yes, the parents are rallying together for the best interest of their child. That's it.
Okay, just a quick reminder. All right. There's a lot that's going on here that I think I can see how people are misinterpreting it.
I'm reading your guys' comments. Yeah, I didn't know anything about him up until I've only seen a few case coverages of his and I was impressed with a few of them. So I'm going to have to go look at some of the older stuff with him too.
We'll say that. Okay. But the main common denominator is trying to find Sebastian. I do have some opinions of my own, and I am going to say those things in this show. Just want to give you guys a huge, big heads up. Okay. Just a
huge, big heads up.
Just a little update. Heads up. Spoiler alert. I do have opinions. I am going to say those things.
Oh, kind of like when you said that we should, you kind of dog whistled to your following to find the person that you said was responsible for Sebastian's in California. Kind of like how you use that for content and had no problem with it. That's still, you guys, I can't overlook that I'm just sick about this. That is the one thing in this case that I will continue to be angry with Seth about. I can't help it. It is something I find to be so despicable. I don't have personal feelings towards Seth besides that angers me. That angers me. Other than that, Seth is just like one of the rest of them, but he did not need to sell his son's trauma for fucking podcasters.
But at the end of the day, it's about finding Sebastian. That is the common denominator. And I have some thoughts. I got a lot of thoughts. And I think a lot of them are echoing what the people, you guys, the family chat, you amazing individuals out here are feeling, okay, in the group chats.
Terry Lynn, I see you're here. Can I ask you a question? Why did you put that? It's not even considered an interview, in my opinion. In fact, it's pretty disgusting because all you did was try to steamroll Chris into a conversation that you felt was articulate, which it was far from. But can I ask you why you put that behind a paywall? If you want people to understand who Chris is and how confrontational he is, why did you put that behind a paywall? Just wondering. Seems like to me you didn't go into it with the intent of actually having a conversation or an interview with him. You had your opinions made up and you decided to paint that narrative in every way, shape, or form, but then you hid it behind a paywall. I'm confused.
In the family discussions and all that. But we need to talk about this, all right? So at this vigil, of course, Seth is there, family is there, friends are there, volunteers are there, people who are just wanting to be there in solidarity, showing positivity, trying to send vibes to bring Sebastian back home. Allegedly, there was allegedly, surprisingly, Chris Proudfoot shows up to the vigil. No Katie Proudfoot in sight. I want to make that abundantly clear.
And it was previous to the event starting.
From my understanding, Katie Proudfoot was not there. But there was a conversation that was being had.
Notice the difference of this angle from the one that Justin showed. This looks more confrontational because you're not seeing that Seth is just leaned up against his truck.
Allegedly.
Pay attention to the
between Seth and Chris Proudfoot. Now, allegedly, again, rumor has it that there was.
Terry Lynn, was the intent always to keep it on members only behind a paywall? I mean, if you're trying to paint a narrative about Chris, I would have thought that you would have wanted it out there for the public to see. It wasn't an interview. I will say that fully. I've seen other people review it. And in my opinion, it had nothing to do with, besides you have personal feelings about Chris and Katie and wanted to address them and argue with him. It wasn't even remotely an interview or in any way, shape, or form to find Sebastian or get information about Sebastian. It was just your berating of Chris because you don't like him. Was the intent always to be a members only? Did he know he was being recorded, Terry? That's another question. Did he know he was being recorded?
At first, a very heated exchange of words between Chris Proudfoot and Seth Rogers. Now, if you see this photo, to me, this looks pretty like a pretty.
Oh, Jesus. Once the court case is over. Okay.
Aggressive stance. Let's keep it real. Very aggressive stance.
And again, the other angle shows the legit nature of this pose and this stance.
He obviously, you could tell he's feeling some type of way. And let's be real. Let's not forget, we don't know. I mean, personally, I don't. And I don't know about you guys and I don't know about the internet streets and all that stuff. But I don't know the last time that they've actually physically been in this.
Terry Lynn, I've just got a couple things I want to say to you while you're in here before we listen to this and I pay attention, because I'm having a hard time paying attention to Pascal when I really want to chew your fucking ass. What scum are you? What scum fucking are you to berate the stepdad of a missing child because you have personal feelings, because you've chose to villainize one side or the other? You're not about Sebastian. Let me remind you of that. You're not fucking for Sebastian, because if you were for Sebastian, you wouldn't be cutting his parents down at every fucking chance you got. You wouldn't be recording conversations that they are trying to have with you and putting them behind paywalls. You wouldn't be doing all of this fuckery that you've been doing all along. If you were actually for Sebastian, the victim, you would be kind and considerate to his family. They are victims, just like Seth is. So are Chris and Katie. But that's factually speaking. I recognize you don't deal with that. But this ain't the fucking 90-Day Fiance world anymore over here. These are people's fucking lives. These are people's lives. This is an actual missing child. Well, you all play your fucking little games over here. There's an actual child missing. Well, you play paddywhack, whatever the fuck it is, with the dad over here. How fucking dare you? How dare you do that? Now I sound like Molly. Jesus, somebody smack me. You have no give a fuck about these victims. Let's be very clear. You're not an advocate. You're not a true crime arena. And you sure as fuck need to know your lane, because working with victims and advocacy, you ain't doing that any way, shape, or form. Not a fucking chance. You showed your ass on this one. You've shown your ass and your complete bias in this. Maybe it's time to go back to fucking interviewing people like in the 90 Day, because that wasn't an interview. You put it behind a fucking member's paywall to berate the stepdad of a missing child. What the fuck is wrong with you? It is their child. Not yours, their child. When he answered a question, you wouldn't even let them fucking speak. You just had an answer and just berating him and berating him and berating him. Do you got anger issues? Because you sure as hell seem like it. You couldn't even let the man talk. It's disgusting. But be very clear. People definitely see who you are and definitely know what the fuck you are. It's disgusting. And your court case,
Same place at the
whatever.
same time. Both.
Anyways, back to this. Mods, Sheila, if you want the honors of blocking her and booting her out, you absolutely can. Or if you want to play with her, mods, you guys can do whatever you want.
Proudfoot and Seth Rogers. I've yet to hear anything about them being physically in the same place at the same time. So I'm sure there's a lot, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of tension from over the past few weeks, etc.
Why is there tension, Pascal? Why? Why is there tension? Because you let Seth on your podcast to release personal, private information about Sebastian that was not the public's information to know, that nobody had business of knowing. How do you take that back? How do you go backwards from that? I hope to God he's alive, but that right there in itself, and you are proud of that fucking content. You guys think it's something just like pat yourselves on the back about this shit. What is wrong with you people?
That have transpired because of things that they've been slinging mud at each other.
No. Seth has been slinging mud at them with your help and others like Terry Lynn's.
Okay. The Rogers have been slinging mud at each other at the Proudfoots, and the Proudfoots have been slinging it back. It has been very ugly. Okay. And I understand why. I mean,
and if you threaten me that you're going to sue me, sign the fuck up. Go buddy up with CJ. Maybe you guys can do a whole fucking, what's it called? What do they call? Clash. You guys give Veda Jade involved too. You guys can take a class action lawsuit to get nonsense off the web. Perfect. Go sign up. They might be a petition.
just on the side of Seth Rogers' side, I understand why mud was being flung. Okay. You hit a wall and then suddenly you can't take it anymore.
It was disgusting. It was a disgusting display of how insensitive some people can be.
You're lost. You can't figure out what to do anymore. You're by yourself. You're not being helped. You are not sleeping. You're trying to nurse an injury, etc. Like, it's just one thing after another. All these
Me and Granny are going to be on a class action law.
bad things, and then on top of it, still having no clues to give you a solid idea of where the heck your son is. Add all that together. That's a recipe for a very, very disastrous situation and maybe mindset. But when you have Proudfoots out here and not doing anything, getting in an RV and driving away,
going to work to keep a roof over their heads, so when hopefully Sebastian comes home, he still has a roof over his head, being responsible adults. Okay.
Staying in Mississippi or doing whatever the hell they're doing.
Going to a work site. Okay.
Seth seeing that too. It's not only just us seeing that. That can make somebody feel some type of way. Now, I want to say this too.
I venture to say that Seth was aware that they were going out of town because of Chris's job. I would venture to say that Seth was privy to that information.
Side-eyeing the Proudfoots like a mug. I'm side-eyeing them like crazy. I want to make that abundantly clear. I am side-eyeing the Proudfoots till they act.
None yet. When it comes to victims and what is done to victims and their families at the worst time, I do not have any give a fucks when it comes to these pieces of shit kicking this family over and over and over again when they're at the lowest of their lows. All of them. Even though I have personal dislike for what Seth did to his son, I still will not kick him over and over and over again. Victims deserve better. They deserve better. Sebastian is the victim and his family are being victimized by fucking fools like Terry Lynn, Justin on TikTok, Justin Spanky over there. Justice for No One, Slimy, 1111 True Crime, Brittany J, CJ, Brothers Underwater Recovery, Pascal, every day, Terry Lynn, all day long. They have made this family's worst days content on the internet. And they're like salivating over it. I have no give a shit when it comes to protecting these victims and their families. Until laws change and catch up with it, this is what we've got. Name and shame them. If they're so proud of how much awareness they bring on these cases, stand in that shit. Stand in that shit that you created. But this isn't victim advocacy any way, shape, or form. Blowhorn Betty, JLR, the list goes on and on and on and on. The hundreds of creators that have been doing this. Crime something obsessed. Crime Lines and Bullshittery. All of them. When it comes to victims and their tragedies, there's no price tag that should be put on these people's lives. And there is no factual basis for their dislike. They just decided to pick a narrative and run with it. That's what we've been watching.
Actually show me proof positive they have nothing to do with the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. I will still have that till I see absolutely smoking gun evidence that exonerates them. I'm still side-eyeing them until I see proof.
And that's the complete opposite of how our system works. There is no evidence to prove that they did anything. But in Pascal's mind here, he's saying that they're guilty. And until law enforcement can prove to them that they didn't do anything, that they're still guilty. Thankfully, our system doesn't work that way.
But they came together. They had an exchange, at least in the very beginning. It was very heated. And then the tone changed. And I think it was basically Seth and Chris finally agreeing on, hey, the common denominator here, we need to set aside our differences and we need to focus on trying to find Sebastian. Now, I even said this.
I've never offered you guys a safe space in my comment section, just so you know. So go cry about it. My mods are free to say and do and as they wish and as they see fit, because I know if they're saying something, they can sure as hell back it up. So if you feel you want a safe space, this isn't it. You do fuckery, you cause bullshit, you're probably going to get it from me and a few others. It is what it is. Welcome to the shit show, where we don't hold back. Because these families deserve better. Sebastian deserved better.
I said
deserves better. Because I'm still hopeful he's alive. But he deserved better from the internet.
The same doggone thing. Okay? I said the same doggone thing. Now I got to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up.
Granny,
we got a little bit of time. I got to find it, though. You feel me? But I said the same doggone thing.
Duchess, do you want us to start gathering that and rallying the communities, you guys? There's a potential that we might need further billboard stuff, and I will gladly share whatever links and stuff. Duchess has been proactive. She not only talks about it, she walks that walk. They've gotten billboards up. They're continuing to do whatever they can. If you need us at any point in time, Duchess, I can even throw you a wrench and you can drop all the links you want to if you would like. Please feel free, you guys. Duchess is not just talking about it. She's actually proactively trying to do stuff to help bring Sebastian home, like billboards that are being seen. I think she stated the other day that they're covered until the end or beginning of May, but I will do whatever I can with my community to help. I mean, we're all a community. We're all sick and tired of the bullshit.
On Court TV. Hold on. What the heck is it? Boom. Hold on one second. I want to pull this up.
Sheila, you're fine.
The dynamics of the divorce, everything.
I'm going to fast forward Pascal to where he brings them up.
On a regular basis. Yes, we use the F-bombs. Yes, we do all that kind of thing. But I feel like it's a little bit of Chris Proudfoot energy.
Oh, this is where I want it.
Here's my thing about this. Here's my thing. This is just my opinion, and I'm just catching vibes here. Okay? So I could be absolutely wrong. Let me just be completely real with y'all. All right? I could be completely wrong here. But didn't he just get done with an argument / conversation with Chris Proudfoot? Could he have been?
Duchess, you know how to get a hold of me. I actually will probably send you my phone number in an email. So if you need me for anything, I will do whatever I possibly can to help. Absolutely. We will keep billboards up if we need to, whatever we can do, because the goal is Sebastian, not all this bullshit. But we will continue to talk and highlight the bullshit. But again, thank you, Duchess, for all you have done for these families and continue to do for these families.
Taking that frustration that he just got done with Chris Proudfoot and brought it into this video. I'm not sitting here saying that's how he should have done it or anything of that sort, but I'm just saying this doesn't sound like full verbiage or the vernacular that Seth Rogers uses on a regular basis. Yes, we use the F-bombs. Yes, we do all that kind of thing, but I feel like it's a little bit of Chris Proudfoot energy. Does that make sense? Now, I could be.
I love how they think they know Chris Proudfoot. It's Chris Proudfoot energy because he said the F-bomb.
Absolutely wrong.
You know what? If I was Chris Proudfoot, I would say that would be a compliment, because if Chris Proudfoot energy means that you're laying down the swords for the best interests of Sebastian, that's a compliment.
I could be absolutely wrong, but it feels like he's taken that energy that he just received from Chris Proudfoot, runs into Justin on TikTok, who is holding his camera,
No, this was all premeditated. This was all set up. Get this shot.
Phone, and then he just blurts it all out.
No. Justin on TikTok said how it went. They had a discussion before they started filming.
So it's not only him saying it, which would be a lot more like with heart and love and compassion. It gives me Chris Proudfoot vibes. Now, again, I'm not trying to move the goalpost, okay? I'm not trying to sit there and trying to manipulate this in a way to make it seem like, oh,
Meanwhile, that's exactly what they're doing.
Whatever, okay? But there's a vibe I'm getting here. This seems almost seconds after that conversation, which was very heated, right?
Even though we saw an angled photo, but when you see the initial photo that Justin showed that we saw in this video, if you missed it, go back and look. The actual angle of this, Seth was leaned up. Chris was in a relaxed stance. No.
That's one part. The other part is too, listen, I'm going to join forces with these people. I got to.
It's not these people. That's the biologic mother. That's his ex-wife, the mother of his child. It's not these random people.
I know the internet's going to be upset about that. But hey, if you can't handle it, you can't handle it. Can't say anything much about that anymore. We're going to keep it moving. Okay. So I think that there's some things, okay, that were said in this that I can see.
TM, just so you know, if you are a member of Brittany J's, you will probably be blocked from being in my comment section. Just a heads up.
It would turn a lot of people off. I get that part. I do. But I also think that he is also extremely tired. He has been ran through with this case. Okay? He is at his wit's end, and all he needs, all he is praying for is a miracle. And this might—
And Katie and Chris aren't. Okay.
Might sound weird. But maybe by them teaming up, that may be the miracle he has been wanting all of this time. I know that might be the thing that you don't want to hear. In fact, that's something that I'm side-eyeing the Proudfoots too.
What? This right here shows exactly the narrative that they want to continue to spin.
That may not be something that I want to hear. But at the same time, if that means that gets him access to TBI, more information, direct information to TBI, from local law enforcement, knowing exactly what's going on. If that's what he has to do so that he can find Sebastian, so be it. Make it so. Like I said, ladies and germs, I'm still side-eyeing them like a mug. And I'm not the biggest fan of hearing about this alliance, but at the same time,
I'm not the biggest fan of hearing about this alliance. These are family members working together for their missing loved one. How is this an alliance? And how do random YouTubers have they interjected themselves so much to the point that they think there's a problem with this? This is beyond.
Sometimes you gotta align with the people that you disagree with to get to the same goal. And the same goal is finding Sebastian. So I know people are upset about this video. I'm telling you right now, please understand. It's 55 days, I think, today. Shoot, it's been so long, even I'm losing count of days. But if I'm correct, it's 55 days of Sebastian nowhere. Zero clues from what we know by the public, okay? That is public information. Zero clues, zero leads to finding Sebastian. Zero. Do you understand that? So put yourself, God forbid you have to put yourself in his shoes. Put yourself in his shoes for 5 seconds. I'll tell you what, you'll be at your wit's end. You'll be losing your mind. You will talk crazy on microphones. You will do everything you can to get your son or your daughter or your loved one back as soon as possible. As soon as possible, okay? Real talk. Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second.
We're going to fast forward this.
Some green heart emojis in the chat for me, please, and thank you. Seth Rogers is on the phone. Okay, man. First off, I appreciate you, calling in, because I know that there's been, a lot going on. How was first off, most important thing, how was the prayer vigil? How was that last night?
It was pretty good. Wonderful person up there saying prayer. And then we had a great person on the guitar.
That's dope. That's dope. I'm glad that there was a good turnout. There's a lot of positivity, a lot of people giving you prayers and hugs and just giving a lot of positive energy to Sebastian Rogers. And that is the main goal, right? Is finding Sebastian. So
that is the goal. That is
the goal, my brother. So can we talk about this? Because I know
that should have been the only goal from start. I'm sorry.
That there's been a lot of people that have been very, very shocked about this update, right? Now, is it true that there was an exchange of heated words between you and Chris Proudfoot when he showed up? Is that true?
No, he just came out and spoke. He had actually showed up early.
No, there wasn't an exchange of heated words. No. Do I need to rewind that? Taylor, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the cabana. And if I missed anybody else, thank you for becoming a member in the super chats. You guys are great. But let me back that up so you can hear again. There was not a heated exchange like they tried to sell everybody.
Because I know that there's been a lot of people that have been very, very shocked about this
I got
update,
you.
right? Now, is it true that there was an exchange of heated words between you and Chris Proudfoot when he showed up? Is that true?
No, he just came up and spoke. He had actually showed up earlier before everybody showed up for the vigil.
26-minute mark, Pascal's. He admits it wasn't a heated exchange.
He showed up, he swung by. I had to put on my truck pops, putting some windshield wiper fluid in there, and he swung by to see if I was having vehicle problems.
Oh, Chris, the nasty asshole, Chris, the horrible, what does the internet call him? A narcissist, which I absolutely hate the diagnosing of the narcissist thing. Oh God, Carla's back again. Lord bless us all. I don't have enough brain cells for this shit or the tolerance level for this shit anymore. Carla, we all know Seth was Jesus. Somebody take the wheel. Somebody take the wheel. Chris, the asshole that they've made him out to be, stopped by, in Seth's words, to make sure he wasn't having vehicle trouble. Huh. But they'd already spoken. Huh. Interesting when you hear the actual details.
Mm-hmm. So he came over
and then he came by.
Yeah.
Then he came by afterwards.
Oh, and then he came by again.
Right before the vigil started.
Right before. They'd already spoken.
To have a conversation with me.
Right.
And, wanted to put stuff aside and work together to find Sebastian. And I told him that's all I want is to find Sebastian.
So he's the one who said, hey, we should align up, we should join forces and try to find Sebastian, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That evil, nasty man, Chris. Oh my goodness. He came by to have 2 conversations with Seth. What an evil, wretched human being that wanted to lay down swords for the best of Sebastian.
Bet. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That's great news. That is great news.
That's fine with me. Let's do it.
I see.
You know?
I see. So then, okay. So then let's talk about this video, okay? Because it's blew up. It is blown up the internet overnight. Okay, I woke up this morning to DMs, etc. with this, reacting to this video. Can you explain to me what's up? What happened? What was going on with this video?
Well, first of all, I don't have social media.
Right.
And so, about the only thing I hear is what other people will be telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And besides all the spam stuff that's been coming in with people saying that they have my sons, which that takes a real particular discussion.
Yo, Tisme. You're here. Most of the day she seems to protecting CP. I don't even know those people. You guys are so fucking weird. And by the way, my boss is Duchess. I'm insubordinate always.
Piece of garbage to do that.
Right.
The hell is wrong with people?
Just kind of gets on my nerves that people think it's a joke. Sit there and say that they have my kid.
Okay. Yeah, the fake kidnapper and all the hoax, all the fake scamming that's been going on revolving around your son. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's just despicable.
I see.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. And I get why you would say something like that, because it wasn't directed towards the people who are out here supporting. Go ahead.
I appreciate everybody that is supporting me. Anybody who has donated to the Cash App, to the GoFundMe, their time, their effort to go out and pass out flyers in whatever town they're in.
Carla, where's the proof that the house is for sale? You guys have been running with that rumor for weeks, and when it's been vetted, it's not truthful. So where's that rumor? Where's the substance behind that? Where's the proof to prove that the house is for sale?
In whatever state they're in, people that have traveled from other states to here to help pass out flyers. 100%. I appreciate you all 100%. All right. But these people that just don't understand.
And Carla, I'm telling you, instead of coming in my comment section and making accusations that you can't back up, if you're going to be allowed to speak in my comment section, you need to be able to point to proof, because factually speaking, actual realtors have looked and the house isn't for sale. So where's that information coming from? You're telling us to research, but factually speaking, the research leads to you're full of shit.
That I want to find my son. And why people are sitting there trying to go, oh, we're Team Seth. Oh, we're Team Chris and Katie. Did you hear Sebastian and Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie?
Right.
There is no.
Exactly.
There's no Sebastian in Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. We have
Carla, and you're doing it again. You're doing it again right here. There's obviously safety concerns. They're being stalked at every turnaround that they make. There's obvious safety concerns. Seth even had people driving by his house filming him. I don't understand what you're not getting in this situation.
15-year-old child that's missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
My son is missing. Katie's son is missing.
Absolutely. Now,
Katie's son is missing.
All right.
But there has been a lot of
But Pascal wants to include here
groundwork over the past 50 some odd days.
There's been a lot of groundwork to smear Katie in every way, shape, or form, and Chris too.
That has been splitting the room for a little while. So what do you say about that? Because yes, you guys are joining forces, but you know, a little bit ago, it was a different tune. You see what I'm saying? So I can understand where people are feeling a little bit like, whoa, what happened here? You see what I'm saying? So what do you have to say about that?
Some people may be feeling whoa, like whoa.
Right.
You know, there's a song, but I'm not there. I can't remember the song, but I know there's a song. My hip hop days are coming back.
Yeah.
You're not asking questions, Carla. You're making false, inaccurate statements. You're making statements that they're factual without the proof to back it up. If you know something as fact, instead of stating it as fact and coming in and telling us to research it when we're telling you, factually speaking, the last time anybody checked, their house isn't up for sale. That's factually speaking. You're just making blatant accusations when they're not true. You're not asking questions. You're making statements as fact with not having the proof to back it up.
It's like, whoa, yeah, I got you.
It's like, whoa, yeah,
Yep.
there it is.
That is the first thing we've agreed on, Carla. Sebastian deserves better from all of them. Sebastian deserves better from the internet. Sebastian deserves better from random people going around and lying about his parents.
Like he who has never sinned, throw the first rock.
Duchess, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I know I'm a sinner. I'm here. I have sinned.
I will say though,
Chris
too.
was big enough man to come and
Chris is a big enough man.
ask me, you know.
Why would Chris be the one to approach Seth and ask him to lay down swords? Make that make sense, people.
I'm big enough man to sit there and say, if you're going to help, come help.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Can you guys, Tisme, if you're going to troll me, at least be fucking funny. Come on. It's like pulling goddamn teeth.
How many challenges will God give me before he gives me my son?
Hopefully not many, but you also got to remember.
And this whole thing was just complete deflection. Pascal's like, no, we're not happy with you because this is just so weird.
Remember that he's here. I mean, God is present. He is there for you.
Yes.
And maybe, like
but he's also watching to see how I react. He's
True.
watching to see he's watching to see if I'm going to handle the troubles that he's given me.
I see what you're saying. Listen, I understand where you're coming from.
He's done what he's done.
Right.
She has done what she has done. I have done what I have done.
Nobody's perfect. You're right. You're right.
And can you imagine the guilt that they all are carrying right now about what should have, could have, would have happened? They're all kicking themselves. They are all feeling so guilty about every little thing. We talked about this earlier today about how any little thing, it might be completely insignificant. They're going to feel bad. They have a child missing. The emotional roller coaster that they've been taken on is extreme. But these YouTube creators have done this intentionally. The narratives that they keep spinning, this is all content for them. At the end of the day, it's not about Sebastian, unfortunately. It's about content for them. Sebastian is just content for them. To the rest of us, he's a missing child. His family are victims. He's a victim. Victims deserve better.
And you got to
We're not perfect.
Right.
At the same point in time, you know, we're going to hold another vigil in 2 weeks.
Are they going to be there?
Right now I'm working.
That's the thing. I think the
Right
problem
now-
is, Seth, can I just say something
and
really
it's
quick?
hopefully going to be yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I think what the general consensus is how they have been moving around here lately.
A bunch of random people on the internet that really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Seth, you should have just hung up right then and there. We're going to work for the best for Sebastian. That's it. That was all.
It's their actions that are speaking way louder than their words. And let's not forget the words that have been said, that have been back and forth, that have been, they've been caught in not telling the full truths. There's been contradictions, so on and so forth. But most importantly, it's been the actions of
Carla, you might be getting my attention now. Please tell me you're not a psychic medium preying on this family at their most vulnerable times. Please tell me that that's not what you're fucking doing. Please tell me that you're not fucking preying on this family at their most vulnerable time. You fucking people are sick. Fucking sick. I am so sick of this shit.
Their actions speaking way louder than their words. So I can see why people are feeling,
I understand that 100%.
Feeling a little bit some type of way about this. Okay.
I understand that. Actions speak louder than words, Pascal.
Absolutely. They most
But
definitely
everybody
do.
deserves a chance.
Everyone does deserve a chance. And again,
Pascal is so unhappy with the words that are being said from Seth.
this could very well, I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it really real. Like I said it right before you called, that this could very well be the miracle that you've been maybe looking for and hoping for. Maybe this alliance will get us closer to finding Sebastian for sure. That's without a shadow of a doubt. You see what I'm saying? So
No, I don't see what you're saying, Pascal, because this has nothing to do with you. This is for Sebastian. This is his parents. If they're joining forces, the only thing that you should have said, and it should have been right there that it all shut down, is whatever is in the best interest for Sebastian, we are game with, and we support you 100%. That's it. Instead of playing this emotional manipulation of, if you don't do this, this, and this, the internet's going to say this about you, Seth. This is emotional manipulation.
Really hoping.
That's what I am hoping for.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping that by working together, we can find Sebastian. There was 2 people in that house.
There was 2 people in that house. Listen specifically, Carla, to what Seth is about to say.
Sebastian and Katie.
Sebastian and Katie. Once again, your theory of Chris being home isn't panning out, isn't it? Because the biological father is even stating that there was only 2 people in that home.
Yep.
Only those 2 people was there to help me try to find Sebastian. Then so be it.
Gotcha.
So be it.
I got you, man.
I want my son back. And of all things, we get judged when we're no longer here. When our time has come, we will be judged.
Right. No doubt. Listen.
At any point in time in this world, a person can come to the realization that maybe, just maybe, they need to change. You cannot force a person to change. Only a person can change for themselves.
Those are facts. I will say this, though. I mean, at the end of the day,
I pray.
If it all day. Okay, just to make it today. I say we pray. But I think it's very important that, yes, if it means that you have to set aside your differences and this alliance does what it does, I guess everybody will be watching, right? And hoping and praying that this turns into something that's productive, not only just for yourself, that relieves some of this tension off of you as well, but also helps find Sebastian for sure. But I think at the end of the day, it was really, I think at the end of the day, it is really just how the message was sent out there. And I get what you're saying now. You've clarified a good portion of that, and hopefully the court of public opinion will be okay with it, and they'll be able to.
Who cares about the court of... Who cares about the court of public opinion? Who gives a shit? They've got a missing child. Hopefully the court of public opinion will be Pascal, this is when you fucking man up and you say, you know what? It's all about Sebastian. Leave your bullshit at the door. Stop. But you couldn't do that, could you? Because it wouldn't be content and views to carry out.
To move on, and we'll, you know, I've moved on. I know where you're coming from. I absolutely understand where you're coming from, for sure. But I know that there's people that feel some type of way.
What Justin waited to show at the very end was what I actually had stated before that.
Mm-hmm.
Which was me telling everybody, I appreciate everybody who showed up. I appreciate everybody who was helping. I really do. I appreciate it 100%. I appreciate all who are helping me. I appreciate all who are going to help me. I appreciate everybody who's working to bring Sebastian back to me.
Yeah.
Because that's the goal. But if you're not going to be on Team Sebastian, kick rocks. As my PR person said, I need to stop cussing. Or as she said, stop using such colorful language.
Right.
No, your PR person should say, express yourself however you need to. But if it's about your son, this all God, whoever his PR person is sucks.
Yeah.
Well, that's really part of me. So, as she has asked me to, people can kick rocks if you're not on Team Sebastian. You're either part of the solution or you're the problem.
I get what you're saying.
Unfortunately, Seth, you're seeing a reaction to you being part of the problem for way too long. Because you see that when you're trying to work for the best interest of your child, that's not what the internet wants. They want the fighting. They want the drama. It brings them content and views.
Amen. I do. I think that there are people, and there's going to be people that are going to feel some type of way, and they're going to have to, you know, process this and move forward from this.
No, they really don't, Pascal. It's none of their fucking business, and you should have been man enough to say that to your audience. If you don't like it, too bad. This is about Sebastian. This is where you have due diligence that you should do better.
This point on, I think what is more important than ever is how the Proudfoots operate from this point on. Because you got to remember, it's been almost 2 months, since he's been gone.
2 months.
And the thing is, though, we have not seen one moment of them lifting a finger. So I think that people are feeling upset and surprised because they haven't done anything out here.
That's blatant misinformation. They helped get billboards up. They helped. I don't even know why I have to repeat this shit.
Doing a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of the speaking for the most part. And I think a lot of people are feeling like, okay,
I've got a lot of great volunteers,
but I feel like
not to interrupt, but
yeah, but
I've got a lot of great volunteers that have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Revival. You called this earlier. You said that BHB was running with Spanky's misinformation, and sure as shit, here's another person running with BHB's misinformation. It's your fault, Revival.
Absolutely. But you are also spearheading this entire search, etc. Right? It's you, not the three of you guys. Now, I'm happy because I've even said this on many times before that there should be a united front. You
look so happy, Pascal. You look so happy. Meanwhile, basically telling Seth, well, we'll wait to see what the public says about your decision to work with the biological mom for the best interest of the child. You look very disturbed by this.
You guys should set your differences aside and join forces and be done with this. But that should have happened. This is what I think I feel like this is what the court of public opinion feels, that this should have happened a long ass time ago. And now suddenly they want to join forces. So
no, Pascal, that's incorrect. It was the United Front in the beginning until social media weaseled their way in and started helping create narratives and pin them against each other.
I can see some people side-eyeing this movement as some sort of tactic because they realize how bad they are looking out here in these streets. So, we join with the good.
Funny that YouTube internet streets, as they call them, are more important than these people's actual real lives, what's going on in their actual homes with their actual son. Isn't it crazy that he thinks that there should be more focus and gravity given to the YouTube streets and their assumptions over this family than what is actually going on in their homes?
Side, we join with the Rogers, where everyone is standing in solidarity and rooting him on. If we get with him, we'll be under the same positive light now. You see what I'm saying? So I could see where some people are looking at this and going, "Oh, they're gonna use Seth. They're using him, man. They're using him, bro."
I agree.
Using him for what? What are they using Seth for?
Some people are going to look at that, but what I'm looking at is the fact that I'm always under scrutiny.
Yeah.
What they need to realize, if they're joining this team, they're going to be under scrutiny as well.
What? What? Seth, they've been under scrutiny. You have done like 40 interviews scrutinizing them with YouTubers.
It's not going to stop just because they're on. They're it's going to double down. It's hard work. It's boots on the ground. It's speaking for Sebastian, not speaking down about Sebastian. And if they don't realize that, that's on them.
Right.
I mean, I'm not defending them at all.
Yeah.
But I am willing to let somebody come in and show their worth.
Show their worth? Oh my God. I'm going to put a pin in my mouth right now because I have so much to fucking say. Be nice, Becky.
Period.
Okay. Well, Seth, listen.
And I just want my son found.
I'm hoping, I really do hope that this alliance, this new joining of forces, I pray and I hope that this does nothing but give you exactly what you need to get to Sebastian. Period. Point blank. I just want to say that really quick, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what the people out here in these streets think. It's about what you guys do out there in these streets. So I think
about what we do.
Exactly. So I think what's going to happen is we're just going to sit back and we just got to see how the Proudfoots operate with Mr. Seth Rogers. That's what I
you were there. You were there, Pascal. You were there. You should have just ended it.
think. I hope that this works. I hope that this works out, and I hope that this is not an opportunity for them to get back in the good graces of the streets. I'm gonna be real. So I just say,
what you think? That's their focus. That they're more concerned about their image on social media than finding their son.
Hey,
let's be honest, Pascal.
Go ahead.
And they definitely aren't gonna use Seth to write that image. I'm sorry. What?
If they're doing it for that, it's going to come back twice, if not 3 times.
Yeah.
Harder. I'm praying that that's not what they're doing, but I tell you what, I just want to find Sebastian.
No doubt, man. I'm with you 100%. This is, at the end of the day,
I'm with you as long as you keep giving us dirt for content on shows.
It really is about finding Sebastian all day. But Seth, unfortunately, I got to let you go, man. But I do want to ask you that.
I got to let you go. I got another, 40 minutes of a show that I need to get to. And this isn't interesting me because you're not trashing Chris and Katie like the narrative we've tried to paint out here.
Though, I do want to ask you something. Have you heard any new updates at all? Any leads, anything? Okay.
I got I've got plans for next week on locations and stuff to hit.
Okay. I do have some friends that have some serious resources I would love to rap with you about that on, off the record, when we get off the show. I definitely would love to get in touch with you about this, because I got some people that have some a lot of resources and for searching, etc. So we need to talk so I can get you guys connected. So yeah,
you got my number.
I got your number, so I will.
All right, that's enough of that. I think we've seen enough. I think I've tapped out. Like, this is madness. This whole stream has been a shit show. Terry Lynn came in here defending herself and talking crazy. Carla has entered the chat. What is happening to these people? Are you all okay? That's how I'm going to end this. Is everybody okay? Now you see how narratives are being spun by YouTube creators, and they're almost using it as leverage over Seth. Well, if you work with these people, you're losing your support. They all continue to do that, like, over and over again. That is not. Thank you, Sarah. I'm what is happening here? This has gotten so out of, clearly we're not, right? Generally, like, Carla's in the chat spreading misinformation. Yeah, absolutely, Penny. There you go, Chasing. You can be a frog any day. Good night. Oh, KJ, thank you so much. Upside down world, right? Did you guys get what I was showing, though, how the narrative is spun and now how they're basically leveraging it over Seth? Like, Seth is in great hands. Seth is wonderful when he's pouring dirt. But as soon as he's like, no, this is for my son, I'm pulling away the internet. And you know how they leverage that over his head. You got to see it. And if you can't see it, I don't know what's going on with you people. Again, the Proudfoot home is not up for sale. Oh, there goes me and my thumb again. I wonder if I can do, what's this one? I don't remember. There's like balloons and confetti and stuff that you can get on here. Carla, I hope that whoever you speak to and doodle with guides you in the right direction from here on out. I have nothing against psychic mediums at all. I think there are people that are definitely gifted. My mother-in-law was. She had the weirdest sixth sense about everything. Smiles, I adore you. Thank you so much. But spreading misinformation isn't helping Sebastian at any way, shape, or form. Oh, Duchess, somebody's asking everybody to ask you about them in the comment section. That's a them thing. Carla, the medium, has been in here telling us the Proudfoot home is up for sale and then saying, ask Duchess about who I am and shit. So I don't fucking know. I don't know what they're. Yeah. Duchess, if she's on your payroll, I'm effectively withdrawing. Just joking, but I mean, you can work with mediums, but we might have some insubordination from nonsense over here because I might cuss her out on the daily. Maybe she meant a different Duchess. That's probably it. Carla, you here? Please leave me alone. I'm just... Carla, Duchess is here. You told us that Duchess could vouch for you. Carla, are you okay? Because I think what we have here is, hold on, let me find the button.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
I think that's what's going on, Carla. Duchess, I will assess the situation. Their house being for sale. For one, Carla, their house being for sale. Carla, stop. Stop doing this to me. If you're going to be a fun troll, be a fun troll. You have been in here telling us the house is for sale. Oh, no, she doesn't have 18. Okay, Carla, when you get to 18 pages, come back. Then we might be jiving. We might be jiving. Again, I am not against mediums and stuff like that. I just think preying on the vulnerable is just not my stick. But Carla, you've been spreading misinformation like their house is for sale and that Chris was home until 9 o'clock. Like, you're flat out saying that you're trying to say that Duchess can vouch for you. Meanwhile, is saying that the Proudfoot home is for sale and that you know that for a fact that Chris was home until 9 o'clock on Sunday night. Yeah, she's playing with our emotions over here. Boom, chicka, boom, boom. You more than implied that Duchess asked you to do a reading on Sebastian. Your spirit guides are lousy, girl. All right. Carla got enough attention. Carla, is Carla Peggy? Fucking smile. Please don't make an appearance, Peggy. Please don't. I can't handle Carla and Peggy. I'm gonna do this.
Reading, we're not in Kansas anymore.
I don't think we are either. Toto. All right, y'all. I am out of here. I think you guys got the gist of what we were doing today. I will be back. We've got, I didn't get through even, we got through 5 of like 15 things that I have to get through. This is beyond astounding what is happening here. This is just like, whoa. Rocky Go Bouts. Yeah. Oh, you guys. Chasing, thank you. Brianna, thank you so much. Brianna says, Carla, you were more than implied. Yeah, I read that one. Chasing says, you implied that Dutch was on board with your spirits. You did. You did. If it's not for sale, it will be soon. Oh, my God. Christy, I don't think I have enough brain cells to handle that right now. And I've had demons cast out of me since I was a child, and obviously they're really comfortable in here. So I don't need any of that stuff going on. I just got to where me and my demons are like friends. We don't need them being affected by that. So probably not yet. Maybe when I'm really bored. None of us, thank you for being here. Scooter McBooters. This is just wild. Wait and see. You know how many people's, Carla, you want to know what else I can see coming? I can see that I'm going to go eat dinner. Did you predict that too? I bet you could say that Chris is going to have to go back to work too. I bet, you know what else? You could probably say that another house in the neighborhood is going to get sold where they live too, because people sell houses quite often, especially when the market goes up and down. So in a year and a half, if they sell their house in 6 months, I'm not going to be shocked. I bet you're good. Yeah, this live. Demons be gone. All right, y'all. I am out. I don't know what I'm having for dinner yet. I didn't get anything out today. We're either doing a fend for yourself or something. I don't know. This house is clean. Eating a salad, that's chances are I live on salad. Live on salad and hydration drinks. Yeah. If you need hydration drinks for any reason, I'm not affiliated. Costco, they are so freaking good. They're sugar-free too. 0 sugar. They're called Joy Burst. They have I told you guys, lion's mane mushroom supplements in them. They're made with superfood lion's mane. But these are flavor-wise, they are incredible. Carla, did you predict that? These are amazing though. 0 calories, 0 fat, 15 grams of sodium. less than 1 gram of carbohydrates, 0 sugar, and the peach and the strawberry watermelon ones are amazing. The good Nunya, that's a good prediction. If the other spirits and my demons don't hold me back. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thank you once again to all the mods in here. Thank you for everybody in here and hanging out with us. This has just been... Can I make a suggestion, though, if anybody gets this far? If you're going to come in and troll us, at least be funny. At least be funny. Give us something. Like, you got to give it your all. How much you pay to go in all lives and say what you want them to, asking all people. Angel Feathers, I don't pay anything to go in and say anything to anybody. Nothing. I don't go, you'll never see me. The only time like Brittany was asking me questions, I went in her live because she was demanding answers and then completely deflected from it. Otherwise, you won't see me in comment sections engaging like that. I don't derail people's chats. I don't send super chats. I don't do stuff like that. I know Twist, right? Thank you, Smurfette. I just really want more trolls that are funny. Hey, TPE. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay, y'all. I'm out for real now. There's no paycheck. No pay for chats, only paychecks. We're all going to hell. Okay. Good night, y'all. I will see you guys probably not tomorrow. Maybe early in the day if I can get enough consolidated into a quick, easy one. And if not, I will see you guys Friday. Good night, y'all. Stay safe out here. Get your helmets on. I think we're all going to need them. Petty Betty. Can somebody else do Betty content? I think we've all lost it at this point. Helmets and puppets are needed. Bye, guys.